Milk is
Milk.
The Milk Carton Live with Milk Stevens featuring McWavy. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you
Okay, cool.
hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay,
Yep.
thank God. I was like, shoot, I messed up.
Nah, no sweat. Dope. Okay.
There we go. Excellent. Let me
Nice.
close this down too.
Oh yeah. Let me. It's not a way to. All right, I'm just gonna drag the names here. I had you on the right side. I guess it just auto put you on the left. Cool. Easy 1, 2. Boom. I may need to figure that out, how to just have it so I'm on one side. I don't think it matters, though.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Sweet. Looks fresh. Let me double check the stream. Fuck yeah. Dope. It is rocking. I'm just going to wait 2 more minutes for everybody else to filter in for it to be 7. And I'm sure people will be in and out. Yeah. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
No doubt. Twitch Live. How was dinner for you today?
It was good. I had some wing. I've been on a wing kick. I pretty much eat wings at least every day, which is kind of bad, but I made some. I got a new sauce and I really liked it. So
Oh,
like,
snap. What sauce did you get?
I forget what it's called, but it's it's a plum sauce, and then the same brand, but it's an apricot version, and it's just super sweet and like awesome. And I did baked wings, so
Snap.
I do just like salt and pepper in the beginning with a little bit of oil while they're basically cooking a little bit, and then I take them out and I pat them down with paper towels and like get all the water out, and then I put the sauce on it. The barbecue sauce.
Right.
And then I put it back in, and they're just crispy and delicious.
So
really
do
good.
you only bake them or you grill it as well?
Oh, I love the grilling is my favorite, but
Nice.
I actually don't have any charcoal at the moment. So
Snap.
I've been
What you
grilling a
made
lot.
yesterday, that post that you did, I was watering at the mouth. It looked fire. It looked so good.
That was the best chicken I've ever made. That was a dry rub.
Shoo! Oh
Yeah.
my God. I feel like I could be overstuffed and still eat something that looks like that. Yeah, it looked fire. Absolutely fire. Well, once again, thank you so much for being here, McWavy, author, musician, composer, video editor, instrumentalist. Literally, you do it all. You're on everything. It's super impressive. And I wanted to mention the first or the last time that I saw you, it was playing at Moonrise, which is fucking amazing. I didn't even know. I honestly didn't know that you were there. And I'm just like in this big tent pretty much. I look to my right, I'm like, okay, they have instruments over there. I'm gonna, step out of this for a second, still have my drinks in hand. And I walk up, and as I'm walking up, I'm like, wait a second, that is fucking McWavy right here, standing in the front like, yo! You killed it. It was so incredible to see you on that stage, and it was mind-blowing. I was like, damn, getting it.
Thanks. I mean, that's honestly the biggest stage I think I've had ever played on. I don't think I've played on something bigger than that yet. So like to hear that sound, even though, like how they started out, it's a little quieter for the opening people, and they build up as the festival goes on. But like for me, I was just like, oh, I love how this sounds, it just felt great to be able to have a chance to do that.
100%. It's such a big sound, and what people don't realize when you're on that kind of stage, you can hear what you're playing pretty much before it registers to everyone else. So, or at least for me, it's like, you hit a kick and you hear it in the back coming at you. So I'm sure when you're playing saxophone and stuff, it's like you're hearing these reverberations and echoes, and it's kind of difficult to stay super in tune, honestly. But how was your experience playing Moonrise? I'm curious.
I mean, I had a blast. it went by really quick. I was so nervous. Like I'm just thinking about it right now. I'm nervous. Like my hands are sweaty. But it might just be also because we're talking on a live stream. But it was a good time. And my cousin came, and I had friends come out. And I went on the Ferris wheel, which
Nice.
it was
That's
like,
something I've yet to do. I feel like the lines are always super heavy. They don't care if you run or, pay for the festival. They're like, you're getting in the back of the line. So I've unfortunately never experienced that.
Luckily, being there at the very beginning of the festival on day one when they first opened, I was set because like no one was there yet.
Right?
So I just walked up and got right on it. Like I
True.
literally brought my stuff back and went on the Ferris wheel, which I thought was really cool to get to see everything
Did they
from up
stop you
there.
at the top so you could overlook Pimlico?
Yeah, they did, and that was cool too because I just think it's cool that they had all those horses that run there and are used to run there. Like I pictured what it must have been like for them to go around the track.
Right? It's so
Yeah.
crazy that it's literally in the middle of a racetrack, a horse racing track. It's Yeah, they definitely are resourceful to that effect.
Yeah, it's a special space for sure. I
I'm cu-
think so.
oh, 1,000%. I'm really hoping that, after the pandemic and everything, they can still get everything working and the festival can, the show can still go on and everything to the effect of what it was. I honestly love that festival grounds. I'm a huge fan of the sound that it brings together, and I think they do a great job with booking people, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty diverse lineup that year. Quite a few instrumentalist type electronic music on there, which is what they don't usually do that, or they
Mhm.
didn't used to do that. It was more of like just kind of like DJs and producers.
Exactly.
So I was really like grateful and blessed to have a shot to play my music because it's a little different for that kind of setting
So
and people
how
be receptive.
Oh, a hundred
So I'm
percent.
sorry.
No, no, not at all. I'm sorry. I may cut you off. Just don't mind me. That's my fault. I need to work on that. That's my bad. I'm curious how you got the gig to play Moonrise.
Um, so I was working with this guy Andrew who worked with them for a long time, and they reached out and they were like, "Hey," because I'd been playing a couple of Steve shows before that, and they were looking for somebody for that stage specifically that played like I guess it's like future funk. I
Hmm.
think for them, like electro types, like funky jazzy music. Um, and they were like, "Your girl," and he got me on the show, and I'm really grateful for Andrew for doing that.
Is that
Uh,
Gumas?
yes, it is.
He's the man.
Yeah,
I love that dude. I haven't had too many interactions with him, but he's a homie, and I've had nothing but genuine experiences with him.
yeah. I mean, he works really hard to get where he's at, or he has worked really hard.
Oh,
So
a hundred
I
percent.
yeah.
Yeah, he's the man. So what's like another bigger stage that you played or festival in addition to Moonrise that is like, one of those sounds for you that you're like, you know, that's bigger.
The best sound and big stage that I played on other than that was actually this year recently. I know it sounds crazy because of
Yeah.
COVID, but it was Revive Retreat in South Carolina. It was a hotel. So everyone watched from balconies and they had just this massive stage out on the beach. Um, like the ocean was behind
Ah.
us, and then it was awesome. You want to talk about like a bounce back though of sound? That was crazy. But for the people listening, it sounded great for them. But for me, I was like, "Holy
Yeah, I
smokes!"
can
I
imagine, yeah,
got
hitting the building and coming right back at you. Damn,
yeah,
that's
because
amazing.
the building, oh, you can't see because I'm facing out. The building was like this. So these are the hotel rooms, like this, and then this, and then the stage was in the center of it. So it was just really cool.
That's
Um,
Could you hear the ocean or anything like that, or like could you feel that you were at the beach when you were playing?
it literally like you walk off the stage and it's the beach, like it's on some grass, and it was on the beach, Myrtle Beach, South
That's so
Carolina.
dope. How'd you
It
hear
was
about
a
that? I've
dream.
never heard of that festival.
My current manager, Jared, booked me for it. Uh, well, he wasn't my manager yet at the time. He became my manager, but that kind of solidified it for me when he thought of me for that show. Great guy, but yeah, he asked me if I wanted to play it, and I was just like, hell yeah.
Yeah, right?
Like, say
Say
no
no
more.
more. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
We got to stay in the rooms like at the resort too, and be part, like, so I got to stay there for all the days of the show, and see everyone play, and it was just like I'm pretty like I cried because I was so grateful to have that one show, the one show of 2020, for me. It's
Yeah,
just I was so grateful. One festival.
that's incredible that they were able to have that sort of experience. And just thinking about it. I guess that makes sense. People on their balconies, you're far away, you're on the beach, a lot of wind, you're in an open spot. There shouldn't be too much of an issue. Wow, what an idea. That How did that feel in relation to Moonrise when you were playing it?
Um, this is gonna sound crazy, but it felt like $1,000,000. It felt 1,000 times better because it was just like I was so grateful for to have it at all, like to be back at a show because it's like I've never gone. I really took it for granted the live shows, dude. Like I didn't realize that I would miss it so badly. So when I got that opportunity to play, I was just like floored, and it sounded great, and everyone that was working there like gave it 110%. They went above and beyond. Like the stage manager was incredible, really just super professional and kind and nice, and like did anything he could to make sure that everything sounded great and that people were happy. And I've just never been around a whole group of people that worked on that level. So if they throw another festival, I really hope they ask me because this is the best festival I've ever played.
That's incredible to hear. If you're
Yeah.
playing it, I'd love to be there as well. That would be dope. Like looking out, seeing McWavy at the beach. I feel like that would be like pretty much your natural environment. At least with the what you play and the music. From what I hear, it's like I just want to, sit back and listen to that on the beach.
Yeah,
Or like
that's
dance and like groove, but
no, that's the dream. Like that's ideal. There's this festival that I always hoped that I would get to play. I think it's called Envision, and I think it's in Costa Rica. And I always wanted to play that because it was at a beach, you know. And then it's in the jungle, but I think there's a beach. I don't know. I don't know geography well. I probably shouldn't have said
I'm sure
that.
they have both. Who knows? I don't know.
But like beach playing, like that's incredible. Like the idea of just seeing palm trees around you and the ocean, and just like um,
I
that's my
couldn't
heart and
imagine.
soul.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. I couldn't imagine. The one thing that actually reminds me of is, have you seen the Circles, CER, I think CLE on YouTube, and they have like the drone footage of DJs and different performers at like dope spots?
Yeah, actually, I got into them from watching FKJ on there.
Yes, his
They,
is sick in like the middle
oh,
of that. What is that called? The like body of water that's like a skim lake or something.
I don't know, but it was incredibly beautiful, and just like they they put on a type of show that's just untouched, like incredible.
Talk about an intimate experience as well when as the DJ or as the performer you literally have the sound, the camera people, and the one flying the drone, and that's really it. You might have your like family or whoever you bring right behind you, but other than that it seems that they're literally just vibing to themselves, and in that regard they're killing it. Like their sets are all perfect that I've seen. It's amazing. And to that regard, do you think that playing at the beach in such an intimate setting, do you think that helped you enliven the experience for McWavy?
I mean, yeah, I was like, this is my one chance to 100% give it everything I've got. Like, if I never, like, let's say whatever happens, if I never play a show again, like this one, I'm going to do everything I can to make it the best I possibly can. So it definitely heightened it for me, like also being in the environment, but I think also just everything going on, and um, being so grateful for that one show. I just like, just, it brings something out of you that I'm gonna keep that in mind. Every show I have, like once this is over, I'm never going back to leaving early or I, just taking it for granted.
Right.
Like oh, I made a mistake on this lick. Like, I'll get it right next time. No, I will not make a mistake on that lick. Like, if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. But what I mean is, like, I'm practicing it like it's my last show. Like,
Hmm.
I'm going into that show 100% like sober, clear minded. There's no messing up. And when I interact with people, it's gonna be like you're gonna get all of me. I'm not gonna. It's a job. It's like everything that I can do. I like completely changed my perspective on how I do the shows now. Like it used to be like I play the show, I go off the stage, I drink my rider and I hang out briefly, or like I see some people and I stick around for a little bit to listen.
Hmm.
And when I get tired, I go home. No, I'll be exhausted and I'll be stone cold sober and I will be there at that show. You know,
Yeah,
totally different.
that's amazing, and it's awesome that you have gained that perspective in such a wild time. That's something for me as well that I would go to local shows, I would play shows, DJ, whatever it is, and it DJing at a bar and playing, an instrument for people watching your music are such different experiences. Um, my thought process, going into the whole pandemic and everything, it was like, fuck, we can no longer go see these shows. We can't go to the sit, like in Baltimore, you can't go to Felsborn or Canton, you can't see street performers. There aren't many people that are playing jazz or funk or blues or something that we would, me and my homie or whoever would enjoy to sit there and have a drink. And I never really thought about it in the perspective of the performing artist as like this, I don't know when the next show will be. I don't know who will be booking more shows or where. And having that opportunity to think about it without taking anything for granted is incredible. And I'm so happy you just said something because I never even thought about that as a perspective. For me, it's like, shit, it sucks. And obvious, like, music's my life. I love it, but I never thought like, oh, this might be my last show, or like the pandemic happening. It's like such a befuddling thing, and I'm so grateful for the people that help put shows together, like what you played at the beach and different drive-in shows. It really helps make the world go round, and that's such an amazing perspective that you gained from that experience. And then able to share that that makes me so much more stoked to play. It's yeah, super super happy. Sorry for the tangent there. I never thought about that. It's incredible.
I think it's actually like originally I was like I had a pretty big year lined up. I was like, man, this is the year like I have something special. Like I'm gonna get to do this thing. And that got that went away and with the pandemic.
Hmm.
And I was like really bummed out. And I was just like, why am I so bummed out? Like, why am I not working harder to get there? Like I'm taking this like it's like, oh, I lost it. It's gone. It's like, no, it's not gone. It is there. It's gonna happen in a different way. And I think that's the case for everybody. If like we dig deep our hardest right now and we 100% commit to what we want and how we want to live and make changes, when we're out of this, we're going to be new people and like be the versions of ourselves that we always wanted to be, and like playing in the way that we always wanted to play. Well, for me and probably for you, like
Hmm. 100%.
I I just wanted to get there so bad that I lost track of the real importance of how it's supposed to be. And now I found that again and I'm so stoked.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And that regained perspective, I feel like, has been a very common theme through 2020, as people not being able to go do most of what they want to do. Their social life is either completely diminished, or it's, a little shifted to essentially what we're doing, or, you know, whatever the effect. People definitely have learned more about themselves, what they want to do, not taking anything for granted, super important, building their relationships that they're a part of that they deem they want to continue, like different stuff like that. As bad as this was, I think was an incredible perspective for that mindset and for growing. And I agree 1,000%. You put your heart into something and you're confident that you can do it. Just takes time, and who's to say you can't? Only
No.
us.
Yeah. You're the only one in your own way. It sounds silly because it's like, well, I have all these struggles in these different ways. It's like, no, like, um, have you heard of David Goggins?
I haven't, no.
He wrote a book. I'm just barely getting through the audiobook, but I was listening. My girlfriend Casey read the book and listened, and he basically became this ultramarine, and like he lost like 100 pounds in
Am I
I think it was like
new?
3 months or a month or something like that. But he worked really hard to get to this elite level in the military and with his own life, like pushing forward. And he was like a regular guy
Hmm.
that like anybody, and he overcame it, like running, it sounds crazy, but like running on like a broken leg just to continue and become part of like the special task force and stuff. And
Talk
when I
about
heard that,
dedication.
right, I when I heard that, I was like, damn. And I'm complaining about getting up a little bit earlier and like smoking less weed. Like,
Right?
get your
And this
shit
man's running
together.
on a broken leg. Shoo.
you know
Yeah, that is definitely something that I've never thought about. Holy. Power to that guy. What a strong hearted and minded individual. Oh my
yeah,
gosh. I would cry.
I couldn't do, I don't know if I could push my body like that, but like the way he is able to push his mind, I'm like, what can I do, really? Or what,
Tr-
you know?
Right? We are definitely products of what, of our comfort and confidence. 100%. That man has his shit down pat. Like 100%. Real quick, thank you so much for the raid, Mariah's made. That is amazing. And Buck and Flock. Holy wow. Back at it. So what is the first instrument that you played that you
Am I
learned?
new?
Piano. I grew up playing classical piano. I actually had a piano in my kitchen, like a little upright. And when I was like 4 years old, or 3 and 4, I would always sit at it and just like make up my songs. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I'd
Yeah.
be playing my songs.
Beep
And
beep boop boop.
Am I
yeah, and
new?
I was like singing and stuff. And I begged my mom to learn piano. And when I was 6, I got a piano teacher, and I stayed with that piano teacher until I was like 20 years old. Like,
Oh
even when
wow.
I came back from college, I would see her,
Am I
and she
new?
helped me get into college, because I went for piano performance. But I eventually left because I found that I could make my own music electronically, and I didn't want to pay money
Right.
anymore. But yeah, piano.
S-
And yeah.
So I'm curious if you don't mind running me through starting at piano at the age of 6 when you're actually getting into it. You personally told your mom, "I'm excited to play this. I want to play this instrument." Through your life, starting with piano at age 6, how did you start to be enlightened by the instruments that you play, and how, like, at what age did you learn them and how, or start to learn them and how?
So for piano, I learned, um I don't know how it came to me. That's why sometimes I'm like, I always question that. I'm like, there's something else going on in this world, when you have specific interests that you can't really explain. Like piano, like that connection with the instrument is like such a close friend, like something that like you just can't lose. Um, I started learning Suzuki method, which is like a listening method. It made me a little bit lazy because then I didn't want to learn to read, and I can't read music very well. I actually don't know uh, theory, which is horrible. But uh, it was basically like I would listen to the songs, and then I would go to my lesson, and we'd play them. And she would show me the music and try to teach me to read it too, and not listen as much. But the main method was listening and practicing. Like, I remember I had to shadow for a couple weeks, or actually it was a couple months before she took me on as a student. And one of the things she would do is she would put my hand on top of her hand, and she would show, like, even through high school, to show me the feeling of something, of how it's supposed to be, and the extra space. So it was like a lot of listening and like feeling and connecting also with like another person on how it's supposed, their connection with the piano. Um Does that answer that a little bit, like for piano or?
Oh, well, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. And that connection, I know exactly what you mean because my first instrument was piano as well. I was like 6 or 7 when I took lessons for a few years, maybe 8. So I don't know. I took for a few years and then veered into guitar, a bass a couple years after that, and then drums and a couple other instruments in between. But I remember the second I started playing drums, I was like, I am born to do this. And once I became good at drums to myself, guitar, I realized that piano and guitar was never easy to me. It took years, and I needed to literally push past my thought process to feel what I wanted to feel on the instrument. And for drums, it was an instantaneous, and through now, I just love it. I feel completely connected to it like a best friend, as you said. And it's amazing that connection. And especially at being one of your first instrument, that's phenomenal. Give like that perspective, the emotion, and that's what music is. For the most part, it's incredible.
Soul connection. You know what I
Indeed,
mean?
indeed.
Um, I'm trying to think.
But you play like guitar, bass. You have a keytar now. You sing. When did you start doing all that?
So I got into tenor sax. That was or actually it was alto sax first because they made me start with the smallest one before you can go to the other ones. But they had a band day at school, and they were like, you can sign up to rent an instrument. And I was lucky enough I convinced my mom to let me get a saxophone to rent. And the whole reason I wanted this, I brought in the Pink Floyd "Wish You Were Here" album, and I was like, "What is this sax?" Like I kept playing it back on my little Walkman CD, and I was like, what is that instrument? What is that sound right there?" And she was like, "Oh, I think it's like a saxophone. It's pretty high notes. It must be an alto." I think she just tried to sway me to do the alto,
Right.
because obviously it's a tenor saxophone. That's a tenor sax. But I heard that song, and I had to play that instrument. I was like obsessed with that saxophone sound. It was just gorgeous. So I picked up sax and like tooted along in elementary band, and eventually moved out of that area. Well, we still lived in the same spot, but we went to a different school district, and was blessed that they had a jazz band. And there was a spot open for tenor sax. For the only chair openings they had was for tenor saxophone and baritone saxophone, and I played alto, and somebody else filled the tenor because I was actually transitioning to tenor at that time. And so the guy was like, "Well, you can play the baritone saxophone if you want." So then I picked up that. That thing was crazy because that's just like heavy.
Hmm.
But I'm glad because now I can play the different sets. But my freshman year, I played baritone, and then I switched into tenor, which has been the saxophone you see me play at shows and stuff. But eventually, when I get my coin up, I'll buy an alto and a baritone, and I'd love to incorporate all three at a show. That'd be amazing.
Are there effects you can use that make it sound like different saxophones, or because of the way that they're shaped and the keys are, you can't do that?
I'm sure there's something out there that I could use, maybe like even a pitch correction.
Right, right.
But one thing that I do live is I run all like my vocals and the saxophone through Ableton, and Ableton has just like you can do anything you want in there. Whatever plugins you have, it's an open sandbox. So for saxophone, I don't do anything crazy. I put like some reverb on it, a little saturation, and then I EQ the low end, so it doesn't sound too muddy over speakers. But then maybe a little bit of digital delay line too for certain parts. But for vocals, I actually run a um, auto tune pitch correction on the spot. So you can set it to be either super like T-Pain, or it can be all the way back so it sounds more
Natural.
authentic.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I like it a little bit more natural because I want it to sound also more like my voice. So like if I make a mistake, like you're gonna hear it. But different songs I have different settings. So some of them it's more dialed up. Usually ones where I have to go a super high pitch, I do that so it doesn't sound like a cat.
Right.
But yeah. Vocals I only recently started doing because I was tired of trying to find people to sing on tracks and like rely on other people. And I was like, why don't I just do it myself? Like, it just took a little bit of courage.
I'm so happy
Um,
that you did.
yeah, thank you. I'm glad I did too because it feels freeing. And it also is like each different instrument has a different way to connect with you as in your soul. Like I can play saxophone totally different than the way I can play piano,
Hmm.
and also different from the keytar. The keytar is a piano,
Hmm.
but that plays like a guitar. I can't actually play guitar or bass, but I would love to learn. Like I'd love to do that. But I bought a guitar, a set of guitars for my keytar, so it sounds like a real guitar, which is wild.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, the guitar is such an awesome instrument. Oh man, I love that thing. And backing up real quick, I remember when we played together, uh, you didn't sing at all, and like you didn't have vocals in the songs that you posted on social medias and stuff, and the little bangers and all that. And I remember almost vividly within the first couple videos of you posting, I was like, "Holy shit, she can sing!" Like, what? And then your feel as well with your vocals, disregarding any effect, like you can tell you are a singer now. Like you have the feeling and emotion of a singer. And, you know, even like the one you posted today, like it's your soul, like you can see it on you. It's amazing. Super
Well,
happy you got into singing.
thank you. I mean, that means a lot because it's easy to feel like a little shy about it sometimes, you know? Like
100%.
I've never I actually even feel weird sometimes when like Casey, my girlfriend, is in the house and I'm like recording. I'm like, what if she's like hearing me? And I'm just like, that's a stupid thought. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like it's so silly, but it's such a weird thing. Or not weird, but it's strange to feel so self-conscious about the voice. Like the voice, I don't feel self-conscious about the keys or when I play the saxophone or anything else, but it's like I think it's because it comes from you, maybe.
Hmm.
Or it's probably just me that feels that way, but I get I get a little shy about it.
Oh, I'm the same exact way. I could go up in 10,000 people and play guitar. I would obviously be nervous as fuck. I could play guitar, I could play bass, I could play drums, I could, how are y'all doing? But the second I have to hit a note with vocals, I am so nervous. I can't do it. Like I would love to be a singer. Like even when I was learning piano, that's when I started composing as well. And I couldn't figure out voice. I took multiple voice lessons, like five throughout my entire life, just essentially pitch correcting with both piano and guitar to write it on a note so that when you're playing, you can read it and you see the notes and you hear them essentially when you're playing it. So it makes it easier for it to come together. But singing is so tough. And I have nothing but respect for singers because it is such a tough instrument and it's it's not like you can hide behind a drum set or you can hide behind a guitar. It's you singing into a mic. I'm the same way. It makes me so nervous, and to the same regard, I get nervous singing in front of my girl. We live together. It's like why would I be? What's the reason? Or my family. It's like what's the point? They want to, it's I completely feel that.
It's funny.
I don't know why that is.
I
Such a
just because I think it comes from in like it's in your heart, like it's your soul, like your own instrument. You're playing your own instrument. Like when you're using a keyboard or you're playing the drums or
your own
the
instrument. I like
saxophone,
that.
whatever, you're conducting through that thing. It's like you're conducting through yourself when you're
Hmm.
singing. It's just a whole nother level. My ultimate respect, soul singers, just incredible, incredible voices. Once again, Pink Floyd, those vocals, like I was just like, it blew my mind. Like hearing those types of voices, it's just insanity. Like especially, I love gospel music. Like those singers are just incredible.
Agreed. 100. And
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how they practice, but yeah, I feel like they have it down. Like gospel into funk, their range is so insane. And jazz as well. The range is so insane. And they can hit the craziest notes. I feel like it gives me chills to hear a very talented singer more so than like the best drummer in the world. Like that kind of thing. It's phenomenal. I agree.
It puts your neck is just like prickled up. It makes me cry. Sometimes I sound like such a sap, but I like when I hear some people sing, I'm just like, wow,
Right? Why
wow.
why do you think that is? For example, you I don't know if this is how it is for you as well, but there are some songs that I hear that I just, Wish You Were Here is a great example, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, who they wrote it for, the way they thought of it. The story is incredible and inspiring. And especially hearing the music that comes out from it, it's like, fuck, this is heavy and it feels so crazy. But then you hear like, Amy Winehouse sing by herself in the studio, and it's like, literally, I'm like, I'm cr- like, why do you think that is? That the voice is just that powerful?
I keep bringing it back to this, but I just think it's like it's the soul raw. Like you can hear it without anything else, and it would still be that powerful. Like I think it's got to be something in also just our DNA, like human nature. Like that's how we used to people told stories. That's how history was recorded for a long time, and through song and storytelling.
That's
So
a great point.
I
The
think
first
there's something
instrument.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something there to that. And it's just maybe it's in our DNA.
I guess, yeah, that's true, to the same effect of as one of my best friends runs or I guess leads drum circles, and he is also a licensed psychotherapist, and in his the start of his circles, he always says, this is something that we grew up with. We all grew up with rhythm. We are, I'm paraphrasing, but we grew up as a society, essentially around campfires, hitting drums and feeling a heartbeat, feeling each other's presence, feeling the percussion. And it's like, but I still think voice, is so fucking powerful when you have, yeah, it just hits you. The back of your neck is such a great way to put it. Like, although drums may be the first, or percussion might be the first, instrument after voice, like voice might just, it's so heavy and powerful, and that innate uh, feeling that we have from it, there really is nothing like it. And but it seems like, I don't know how much effect the auto tune does, but it seems to me like you're literally hitting every note. Like if you were
I
to take the effect off, do you think you could nail it?
I could get pretty close. It really depends. If I'm in kind of like my center area where I can sing, I feel pretty comfortable. But when I get to a certain level of low, it also depends if it's cold out. I can sing lower, which is weird. But
Interesting.
sometimes when I go up
Oh
a bit higher, I can it'll
yeah.
sound a little weird. It's I should make a video sometime actually showing the screen at which level it's at, and also singing in the mic and showing the different levels. That would be cool because
Yeah,
then I could explain it better and show it.
I would
But
be super interested to see that.
like the one today, the video you saw, that one had very low amount on it, to give you an idea. But I also didn't go very high in that.
Hmm.
Like that's kind of more of my range, and it's a little bit lower because I think I have like a slight cold. I don't have coronavirus. I'm just I've been working
Right
outside,
away,
so I'm
right away.
cold. I'm cold. Okay, like I don't have a cold. I'm just like I've been chilled
Yeah,
today.
yeah. That's funny. It's funny because when you said or I'm cold, I thought as well that you had a cold. I'm happy that I would have had to exit out right here. I don't want to get
Like
it
it
through the
goes through.
computer. Yeah, shit.
Oh my gosh. What is it called when you get like a computer virus? Like
Yeah, just break it. Yeah.
oh man.
So is McWavy your first project? Like music project?
I started with One Track Mind. That was my name. And then I found out there was a band named that. And when I was in college, people were calling me McWavy. My last name is McAndrew. And they called me Wavy. And then they just started calling me McWavy. So when I was looking for a new name, I was like, right, I'm just gonna use McWavy. And I turned One Track Mind into my publishing. So now it's One Track Mind Original Publishing. So when I put out my songs, I do that. So I got to keep it in a sense.
Dope.
But yeah, there was no one as McWavy at the time. I'm actually not gonna say that on this because I'm not gonna, yeah. Well, I
Moving
should
on.
trademark it.
No.
Yeah, I should trademark.
Oh,
I should
no,
trademark it. I
I
haven't done
feel
one.
true, true. I feel. I thought I don't. Do you know to which point trademarks matter, or like, is it literally if it's like a big business and then there's millions of dollars, then people will try to fight with that? But like, w- I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
one of my somebody close to me, their project. I don't want to say specifics. They don't have a trademark, and it's like, they're at a point where I would assume they'd have feats. Like that would be a feat if somebody took that and it would ruin. But it's like, why would I don't know. I'm not exactly sure why it would be necessary unless I guess you're running like a huge business.
I think it's just if it means that much to you, I think it's important to try to cover your ass because let's say like you do get to a certain level, that means there's a lot of internet traffic looking for that name. So if someone did just take it, like they
What
take
could you
all that
do?
traffic, you know what I mean?
True.
And it's an automatic like already people are searching for that. For me, I'm just unwilling to lose my identity, so I should probably take care of that.
No, 1,000%.
That
That's interesting. Damn, that would be the worst. Holy.
yeah, you never know. I don't know. I've been too lax with it. This year has been also eye opening. I've been like, man, why am I so lazy? Like I haven't sent some of the stuff in I need for uh oh my gosh, copyright. When you send your songs
Mhm.
in, I have it on, distribution, but I haven't sent it in for copyright. Nobody steal my songs, please.
Right.
Just kidding.
Well, I can see who's in
But
the chat now, so we'll find them. We'll find them.
but yeah, it's that's the other thing to music that people don't even consider. Like when you're an artist, you have to do a lot of business. You have to do
Hmm.
a lot of research and learning and save money and put it towards things. Like my virtual instruments alone, like I've that took me a lot of years to get to the point where I have some synths that I really love, and they're all virtual. Like all I needed was this one. You probably can't see it because I'm not moving this, but it's like this one cheap keyboard,
Hmm.
88 key, is like $200. But the instruments on my computer, that's where the thousands of dollars are. Like I don't have the hardware; I only have my MIDI keyboard. But someday I would love to have like a Moog or something, or that'd be
Right.
sweet. Um,
Do you think you would bring a like a Yamaha or something like that on stage with you, or even if you were to upgrade, you would still bring your like 88, what you have next to you on stage?
Um, I would totally get a Nord Stage 3 88 key. I
Those things
would
are
totally.
fresh. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh, the action is great. I mean, when I get to have a backline someday, like the first show where someone's like, "You get a backline for this," that's gonna be on the list. Like, I'm gonna have that there.
Right.
It's gonna be sweet. And then, yeah, I would love that. But I don't. I mean, that's like a $6,000 keyboard. Who has money for that? Well,
Not
people, but not
anymore.
me. Not
Yeah,
me.
not yeah, shit. Indeed.
um, but yeah, like I said, the VSDs, like I made monthly payments. I did Sweetwater monthly payments for years, paying these things off so that I could have them. And I finally got to a point where I own them, and they make me very happy. Like they make the songs, they bring them to life. So
And to that effect, do you think that um your sound is how do I phrase this question? Do you think that because of the sounds you have now, it has helped you create your sound as McWavy? Or do you think that you already know the sound and they're just, pieces to the puzzle?
Oh, yeah.
they definitely helped me bring it to life because for well, I always knew. Okay, so I had ideas of where I wanted to go, but I had so many interests that I would like run in a million directions. Like when I first started making it, I kind of made more electronic music. Now I'm starting to sound like more like soul music that's also kind of funky with a little bit of electronic
Hmm.
music in there, but it's more starting to sound more organic because I got Keyscape, which has classic Rhodes and Wurlitzers and stuff. That was a game changer because they sound real. They sound like a real Wurlitzer without
Right.
having to tune
Oh
it every time you go to a
yeah.
show. So I have the sound in my mind, but I also needed to be able to pay for these instruments to be able to make that sound. Because before that, I was using stock, and that just like unless you're really good at being like a engineer, like producer, like I'm not actually really. I don't fit under the producer line as much. Like I don't sit there and tinker and make specific bass sounds. I make little changes to make things that I want, but I'm not sitting there like doing stuff like do you listen to like Ivy Lab or any like drum and bass or like heavy electronic music, some of that kind of like weird heavy bass music?
Not so much anymore, whereas I do enjoy it and I listen to most everything given it comes on. The stuff that I put on and then, it's very much like funk, blues, rock, classic rock, that like older, very like a little bit of newer stuff if you consider, like a Mac Miller, rest in peace, like
Yeah.
Anderson Paak, like those kind of dudes. That's like around the newer shit that I listen to.
Me too. I love Anderson. I love
He's
that guy.
so talented. Have you seen him live?
I haven't, but I watch his videos.
He
I
puts
would
on
love to
a
see him live.
show. Oh my gosh. He is an incredible emulation of what I want like not only to see in a show, but what I want as, my groups to do. His presence, the story that he tells, you know, the instruments, the way that people do it's just like fuck. He is a talented, organized dude. Like the sky's the limit for that motherfucker. Like he's so talented. His live shows are incredible.
Him on the kit alone is great, but the way he controls that microphone too, and at the same time, I'm just like, man, I saw this video where his drum kit raised right out of the stage. It was underground, and then it
Hmm.
came up and it lifted him up, and I was just like, and the show, like that aspect, like if I went to one of his shows, I would lose my gourd. I'd love that.
I saw that
Yeah.
actually at I think it's Pier 5 or Pier 6, whatever it is in downtown. They changed the name recently, I think, but like Miku Pavilion, I think is the name right now. But yeah, he did that in the thing. It's like the band starts with their little thing, and then he raises up. Yes, Lord, starts going. It's like,
Yes, Lord.
it's like fuck, he is so good. And like from the moment he pops up, you just know his presence is heavy. Like yeah, he's so talented. But yeah, that's sort of the music I listen to. It's like I'll listen to like chill hop and stuff like that when I'm like, either working or like playing Fortnite, just like grind. How do you put it? Like building and fucking around, just trying to practice. But most of the stuff is yeah, like funky blues stuff like that.
You and I listen to the same stuff. I was mentioning them more to explain like that's what I consider like those are producers. They make sounds that no one else has. From just like turning knobs around. It's cool stuff, but I'm that's out of my ballpark a little bit. I don't know as much about that at all. Actually, I don't
Right.
know anything about it.
I feel you completely. No, I'm in the same boat. Like my brother and the dude that he works with, architect, are very great sound engineers, and how they hear things and what they do to make even the kick sound like what they want to is incredible. It's like it's just a different art. It's unlike playing an instrument. It's unlike writing organic music. It is literally a different kind of art. Those
It's
people
really
are so
unique.
talented in their own way. Oh yeah, 100%.
I love to turn my volume all the way up on my speakers and listen to some of that music sometimes because the way that
What other
bass
way?
hits.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, it's just like yeah. I actually ordered the new sub pack. Sub pack.
I'm familiar. I can't recall exactly. I'm about to look it up.
It's a little like thing you put on your back and you get to like feel and hear like the frequencies in the bass.
What? A sub pack
Yeah.
backpack?
Yes, and
Oh shit.
I got the pre-order and I'm waiting for them to make it, but I can't wait for that thing because that's just gonna bring music on a whole nother level for me to like feel like
Oh.
I'm back at the show.
Damn, that looks
But
dope. Oh, I never even heard of that thing. Oh man, that's like those people that carry boom boxes on their shoulders, but much better because you actually have subwoofers in it.
I'd play shows with that thing. I mean, it'd be good because sometimes one of the things that that makes me nervous at shows is when I can't hear as well, like, and I rely on my ear to be able to tell what key I'm in. Um, Having that, I'd be able to feel it, like hear the notes. Like that's one thing that has helped me is like those
Ah,
heavy bass shows with the sub. I can hear the tone of the sub by feeling it, which I sound like Beethoven right now, but anyone can do that. It's the same
yeah.
thing.
No,
But
I know exactly what you're saying.
yeah, some Beethoven shit.
I mean, who is he anyway? You know, he's just a talented dude. That's what
Yeah,
you are. You're a talented individual.
yeah, that's so funny.
So, who are like your biggest inspirations in music, if you could name any?
I have so many. But I'm gonna say, like, it's funny you said Amy Winehouse because her voice, like, she was really special. I loved her. I loved her music. Really tragic ending for her. But I also really love Elton John. Um, I loved the way he plays piano, and the way he sings and his energy, and
Gucci.
yeah, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. That's how I got into like synthy sounds, like Keith Emerson on keys, amazing. I also really liked the band Yes, and I loved Led Zeppelin and those guys. Type like who else? Queen. Um, but then I also really got into like hip hop. I like Pete Rock and CL Smooth because that's like that like classic jazzy boom bap. Stan Getz, I love Stan Getz. That's if I could pick my favorite saxophone player, it'd be him. Like that kind
I
of
need to
sound.
check him out. I'm actually about to write this down. Stan Getz.
Yes, Stan Getz.
Let's write
You
that down.
probably like Girl from Ipanema. Everyone loves that one. That's with I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Astrid Gilberto. Um, I, I'm so bad at saying names
No,
sometimes,
no
but
worries. I just wrote it down. I'm definitely gonna check them out.
and Emily's really good too. He has a song called Emily. Um, who else should I say? There's so many. Um,
Did you know FKJ before you started writing McWavy music?
um, no, I don't think so. I started listening to him when he did that video with Masego Tadao,
Yeah, yeah.
because I was blown away at how Red Bull had that space for them and how that was shot. I was just
They're
like, this
so
is the coolest
talented.
thing ever.
Masego is great
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, FKJ is so talented. I feel like you two would write a banger. Like that would be a song on repeat for a year. I feel like if you guys got together.
I got to get my vibration up. That would be cool. Like if I could meet him and play a song with him, that would be incredible. Because I actually do feel really connected to his music deeply. His studio is beautiful too. I follow him on social media, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, you are like so elusive and interesting. Like you live a beautiful life.
Indeed. Another one that
Yeah,
similar to him is Tash Sultana that I like. She's great and yeah, it's just so fucking talented and does it all.
I'm very familiar with her.
Hell yeah, I'm happy to
I
hear. She's great.
I entered one of her cover challenges. I didn't win, but she said she liked the saxophone, which was cool.
Nice.
I fangirled for a minute.
Hell yeah. Yeah, she seems super genuine and chill. That's another reason why I think I like her and FKJ in the same regard, where you can just tell they're being genuine. And with their music, they feel it. I mean, Anderson Paak, Masego, all those dudes as well, but like specifically FKJ and Tash Sultana, they just are something else,
FKJ is just so calm too. He just is so chill. I'm like, how are you so,
right?
it's got to come back to confidence too. I think that plays a bit of it. But yeah, they're both incredible artists. Incredible. The way Tosh Sultana's show is also insane. All of that's live looping.
Hmm.
And I think his is live looping too,
Yep.
but she just has so many instruments, and the way like just gets lost in 100% in herself at the show, like, and that's what makes it so
As
magical.
I say, that's how you
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
exactly.
Oh man.
So another thing, I forgive me if I'm incorrect, but are you, I guess, like somewhat of a farmer? Like you have farm animals and you grow vegetables, fruits, stuff like that? I would love to hear
I've
more about that.
so I've grown up with vegetables. My mom had a garden. Just always been interested. But the farm stuff happened because uh, Casey and I actually live in a national park as the caretakers. So
Oh,
we're
wow.
in charge of, we take care of the animals here.
Oh,
So
shit.
when at night when the park closes, we're responsible for them and we care for them, and they my relationship with animals completely changed. Like I've always loved animals, but these are like my family and friends now. Like I'm very close to them. So um I I'd always, like, I grew up in Vermont, so I've been around people with horses and stuff. And I always had dogs, but I'd never expected to have pigs as a friend, like two pigs as a
Right?
friend, and the sheep. I really have grown attached to them, and even the chickens. And there's two turkeys that live here, and we have a whole herd of cows, of ladies. But I'm just really connected to all the animals, and blessed to have the job that I do, because um, if we didn't get this job when we did right before the pandemic, I probably would have lost my job with everyone else, because I was doing just like regular 9 to 5 stuff for different companies. Like I did social media management for a garden store. Like I would have lost my job like immediately.
Hmm.
I know it.
So
So I'm,
you picked up this gig before everything happened?
yeah, right as it happened. And it was crazy because the park service, last minute, we were moved in, was like, yeah, we're going to cancel this program. And they somehow worked out an agreement, and we like were on, like, we were able to stay and have this job. And here we are going into our next year doing it again. And I'm just like, that's some divine intervention. Because that also helped change my mindset around in my life, because I get some fresh air and I get to have these connections with animals, and um, live kind of like I wanted to, even though like Maryland is a lot for me. I prefer to live somewhere where a little bit more country, like Vermont again, or maybe even Colorado sometime. But I think that's a little populated now too. But right here, it's just us on like 200 acres.
Oh, wow.
But if I wanted to, I could drive. I get on the Potomac. I'm across from Mount Vernon,
Okay.
so I'm in this place called Accokeek, Maryland, on the river. So if I wanted to, I could go up and be in DC in like 30 minutes, or I can go to Alexandria.
Right.
But I don't want to, so I'm not going to.
That's amazing though. So did you grow up with like dogs and cats and stuff in like your family's house? Like you grew up with animals forever?
Yeah, we always had one dog at least, and then my dad didn't want cats because he was allergic. So we basically, one day a stray cat showed up, and I made it my pet, and it stayed in the garage. And then eventually, when that cat died, I was able to get a kitten, and that cat became a pet, like a real cat.
Hmm.
Well, not a real cat, but one that was
Yours
allowed in the
from
house.
growing up. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yes. um,
Right. Like
and
2 months into the stray cat, your dad's like, "Oh yeah, achoo."
we had a couple of sheep for a little bit, but that's when I was really young, so I don't actually remember that. And at one point we had a bull, but that was just for like my parents bought it with a friend
A
for
bull.
to eat.
Like, oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So that also doesn't really count as a pet.
Fair enough.
But now it's great. I don't eat pork or beef anymore, from living on the farm. Like I love poultry, but um
Hmm.
meeting the pig, like being friends with them, it's just like, yeah, you're so into, like, the
It's
pigs are
tough.
so
They're like
intelligent.
dogs. They really
Yeah.
are so kind. I grew up the street from me is they own multiple dogs forever and they also own a pig. She's like 18 or 20 now. Like I've known her for as long as they've been there and it's like this is a little dog. Like I stayed there a couple months ago just to watch the pups while they were on vacation and it's literally like I had never had this experience before with her name's Petunia, with Petunia, and literally like when I woke up and let her out, she like gets up, she looks at me, she's, grunting. Like she's not squealing or yelling, but she's like grunting, like happy grunts, eats her food, like stumbles outside, comes back in. Like it's literally like a big dog, like a bulldog, but times 10.
Yeah, they'll run across their little pen and come over and see me and Casey whenever we walk our dog Xena, and anytime we're out. Also because they know we feed them, but we some of the times we're just petting them and hanging out. They're just wonderful animals. Um,
So are sheep and pigs similar to that regard?
um, you mean like friendliness?
And like intelligence. Like I know pigs are and dogs are very similar. If not, pigs might be a little smarter, and certain dog breeds are smarter than pigs. But like, are sheep intelligent animals? Like, can you see that connection when you look at them and like pet them and shit?
I love them and they're so kind and lovable, but I think they're kind of dumb.
Okay.
Like Lambo is not smart. Like
Lambo. That's a dope name. Fuck yeah.
like she like one of our jobs, like in the spring we are gonna have more lambs come, because we breed them, or we don't, but the farm breeds them, and there's always bottle babies, like the mom rejects them, so we're responsible for feeding them, and Lambo was one of those. That's how I got so close to her, and that's why like you'll see her, she's in my artwork, she became a character now also in like my stories, my Waverly Flamingo stories. But she was a baby and I literally have a video of her like eating pebbles. She like goes up on the ground and she's like, and she has the pebble in her mouth, she's like just chewing rocks, and I'm like, girl, that's not it.
They can't digest them like that. They're not like birds, right?
No, I don't think it's good for them. So
Like, oh, these kind of look like food. Fuck it.
oh man. Oh yeah, and I gave her a little handful of grain once, and instead of chewing it, she started choking. I thought I killed her. It was like the last time I ever did this.
Oh
Like
no.
she's choking, and like they can't throw up. So they're I don't know why they can't, but they just can't. So her like mouth is like, she's like foaming at the mouth, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to do CPR on this lamb. But
Holy.
she was fine, but she didn't realize that she had to chew the grain, so she just was like, and like tried to swallow it.
That's like some shit when you see those memes of like birds looking up in the rain and then they drown. It's like, what the fuck? That's insane. Wow. Well, that puts
the
into perspective a little bit their intelligence.
the pigs though, they turned a hay bale into a shelter and a bed for themselves. They are
Damn.
incredibly smart.
Was this just one of them or like multiple working together? Or they just happened overnight kind of thing?
Um, I I haven't seen them do it. It's just two now, so it's Lucy and her daughter Bonnie, and they both sleep together too, like, and they cuddle in it. But I think they just kind of like, I've seen them do it with their nose. They just like snuffled it away. Well, I didn't see them take it out of the thing, but I saw them do it with the hay already on the ground, so I'm sure they do the same thing.
Right.
But it's basically like a little cave like this, and they go inside it, and it's a hay bale that they made a cave out of.
That's amazing. Oh
I
shit. They
know.
know how to live.
They do. And oh my gosh, in the summertime, they get in their water and wallow in their water. Like we have to clean it out constantly because they get all muddy, and then they go sit in their water tank to cool down like
That's
it's a
adorable.
bathtub.
That's like some
It's
husky shit.
yeah.
That's adorable.
It's they're great. They're great animals.
Do you have any other, not necessarily exotic, but more elusive animals that you may take care of?
Um I'd say, I mean, well, these animals are all heritage breeds, so they're all critically endangered. So that's like one cool thing. But I mean, they're like, it's like a pig, a cow, sheep, whatever. But not really. It's just the turkeys are interesting, I guess. I grew up with a friend though that had peacocks, and that was really cool. Her mom, one of them, like it escaped in they live in this weird place in Vermont called Queechee, and like
Queechy?
yeah, it's called Queechee, Vermont, and
What
it's
a
the middle
cool
of.
name.
I know it's nice,
Queechy.
but like kind of wealthier people live there, and they like some people had peacocks, and I guess they moved away or something, and just like let the peacocks out, and one of them ran by the yard, and she captured the peacock and turned it into a pet, and lo and behold, she now has like multiple peacocks, and it's just really cool. They're beautiful birds, and they
Right?
live a really nice life. She gave them beautiful space
Do you
and
know if
feeds
they
them.
like fuck with her? Because I think they're pretty aggressive.
I think they've always been pretty nice to her. I've never seen them do anything. I mean, they're also like they go outside on their own. They don't stay in a cage or anything, and they stick around. So I think it's
Is it
more
like
of
a
like
fenced in yard kind of deal?
no,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I think they just have like a mutual respect, which is yeah.
You feed me, I won't bite you. We're chilling.
They have a pig too. His name is Speck. Um, but anyways, that was a tangent.
No, I'm
uh,
happy you told me. That's awesome.
there were 2 rabbits that were dropped off here that we people leave animals here sometimes, and we used to try to find homes. Like they just show up to the farm and drop them out, which is sad. But we did have an albino rabbit and a black rabbit, and we gave them to Casey's mom.
Nice.
Yeah, not that's not exotic or anything, but
No,
I
no,
think
they're
it's
cool though.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Yeah.
not very common, whereas dogs and cats for, my group of friends and, like that is common. Having a sheep or a pig for a pet is not very common. Like, I grew up with a friend that had a pig for a pet, but that's the only one I know. And, I don't think it's very common at all. And I think it's amazing. Like, I would love to spend more time with nature like that and with other animals. Like, it's such an incredible experience, especially taking care of them.
If you ever want to come out to the park, I'll introduce you to all the animals.
I'm gonna
I
take
mean,
you up on
anyone can
that for
come
sure.
here. Yeah, like I mean, we have park guests all the time. Like that's what it is. It's at a park, so people come here. So if you ever want to come, I'd be happy to like introduce you to the animals.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So you said you're in Maryland. This park is like between Virginia and Maryland or close?
Yeah, it's called Piscataway Park. It's in Accokeek, Maryland.
Accokeek.
Yep. It's like I think it's called Southern Maryland is what you would
Okay,
categorize
gotcha.
it as. Literally across from Mount Vernon. So like Casey and I go kayaking, and we kayaked over there one time, and I guess we got too close to the shore, because like there's like this little thing, it was like wee, and all these like police people came out of this little what is it called, like a kiosk or something. And they were just like all like waving like this, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Backpack.
Turn around, yeah, getting the fuck out of here.
Like, I'm just trying to look.
Oh,
I'm not
snap.
pulling up.
So do you do farming as well, vegetation, anything like that on the grounds?
Yeah. So for my job, I make social media content, like little videos, and I help them fill grants by making programming. But Casey is actually the regenerative agriculture coordinator. Wow, regenerative agriculture coordinator. So she's in charge of the historic gardens. And then we both in our backyard have our own private garden that we started, where we grow stuff, and we're trying to get. This year, we're trying to learn how to do seed saving so that we can be more self-reliant. That's basically like collecting the seeds from your vegetables so you can grow things
I
on
didn't
your own.
realize you could do that. Like just
Yeah.
essentially replant it every year.
Yeah. It's only specific kinds of like I'll have to ask Casey more about it. She's the one that really knows gardening. I'm kind of just like the helping hand here. Like I'll do whatever, like I do all the digging and stuff. You know what I mean? And the weeding. But she's just like explosion of knowledge when it comes to gardening. I was the same way as a kid in my mom's garden. I just like it was like I help you, but I'm not listening to what you're saying. Like, but yeah, she grows some really great stuff.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, like I have a chia pet I'm growing right now, and I'm proud of.
I'm curious your perspective. I fully understand not wanting to eat beef or pork after being friends with the animals. What is different from a chicken to where you like don't mind still eating poultry?
I mean, I like the chickens too. I just don't mind. I don't know what it is. That sounds kind of bad. I also don't eat lamb anymore. Like I won't eat any sheep. Well, that's lamb, but um, part of it is red meat actually really hurts my stomach. And someone brought up to me today that they're like, you probably have Lyme's disease. And I was like, you know what? I've been bit by many a tick, so probably.
Hopefully not. Shit.
But yeah, I just pork especially, like I get like kind of bloated and my stomach really hurts. And for them like for the pork specifically, um they're just so intelligent. I just think it's like there's just, I don't know, I just don't like it. But I'm not against other people eating whatever they want to eat. I just think that if you are going to eat meat, the animal should be taken care of. Like it should have a good life, and you can taste that difference in meat. Like when you eat meat that an animal had a really good life and was cared for properly and had space and felt like it was fulfilled, like happy, that meat tastes significantly better than the mass produced stuff that's just crammed into a tiny space and
Right.
fed like chemicals.
I get that completely. Yeah. I didn't know if maybe you'd have experience with chicken where you're like, oh, I'm still going to cook you up. I don't, you're a dick to me. So like, why do I care? No, that's cool. I definitely understand the connection with the pig. I didn't really know that sheep even were that nice. Like I've, pet them at petting zoos when I was younger, shit like that. But like chicken, the only experience I really had is like getting picked at when I'm helping like friends' parents or whatever try to get it. Or, they're just like fucking around with each other. But it seems like chicken are not very formidable, and they like want to escape. I don't know. They're just, it doesn't seem like they have much going on up in their brain.
I don't think they do, and I just love it. I love the chicken. I love chicken. I love birds. Like I love duck. So that'll be like my one meat treat.
Duck is so good. I agree 1,000%. Do you have like a
Oh
favorite
man.
vegetable or fruit to grow or anything? Or do you think that's more of like you're down for whatever in case he's like, this is what I wanted?
I love sweet corn. I know that's like kind of maybe overplayed, but I also really liked like tomatoes, and I love cucumbers and different types of peas and even green beans. I want to make this summer. This summer we got our seeds already, and I got a bunch of different hot pepper varieties, and I'm trying to make some dilly beans, like hot pepper dilly beans.
Shoo.
Um, so and try to get more into pickling this year. So I actually got a little cookbook that I wanted to buy, and I'm gonna try to do some of the recipes in it. So
Dope. And speaking of books, I have this book right here.
oh my gosh, you bought it.
I did. The second I saw it, I wanted it.
Dude,
And
thank you so much.
this thing is, for those of you that don't know, McWavy had published a book, and we're about to talk more about it, The Adventures of Oink and Scratch, The Case of the Missing Sniffer. This, I feel like, is the beginning to an incredible series. And I honestly will read them all until I have kids, and I'll read them again to my kids. Like, how did you get the idea to write a kid's book? Like, what inspired that, and how did it come to fruition?
Do you notice anything about like the animals that are in it?
They're rocking. I mean, the other than like the Elton John sunglasses, not
That's Lucy Pig right there, pretty much. Like that's that girl that lives right outside my house.
dope.
You know what I mean?
That was gonna be something that I ask as well. I was like, if you had a relationship to the animals that help envelop the stories around them.
Yeah, they're all animals like based around animals that were here. Like Lionel, the bull, that was a bull here.
Yep. Gotcha.
And
Okay.
I used to the Dusty Boys are like we have some rams here, and I call them the Dusty Boys because they're always looking like you pet their fur and it's just like dust comes off of them.
The Dusty Boys.
But Casey actually did the writing for the Oink and Scratch. Like she does the writing, and then I make the audiobook and make different parts of it, and we come together on different things. But I have different little series. So I started my own. as well that's more for adults. This is strictly for kids,
Yeah,
really. I
yeah.
mean, and for other adults that like it. But that's mostly Casey's project, and I help her with the different parts, like the audiobook.
Who does the illustrations for these?
So for the illustrations, we sourced that on Fiverr.
Okay,
So we
cool.
found a guy that lives in Indonesia that is dope. Like
Fiverr.
he loves the project, and he was really quick and did a great job. So
Agreed. And to people that haven't seen this, this is the front and this is the back here. And each picture, this is another neat thing that I'm going to ask you about with the spider, but the pictures are done super well, like in detail. Even the ones that have minor detail here, you can tell exactly what it, or like a lot of detail, you can tell that the minor ones, like for example, these have faces. You know, like everything is super clear. I this might be my favorite one right here.
oh
The
yeah.
dancing pig. Actually, my favorite one might be the smell one.
But the one with Farmer Hildy or in the cheese barn.
No, this one right here.
Ah. Oh man. It's so funny.
To sum it up from what I from my reading, it's the pig lost her sniffer and she has to go smell bad things in order to get her sniffer back. I'm on this thing. I geeked a couple times reading it. It's so funny. Um, so this is more of like a passion project of your lady that you helped, but it's not necessarily your dream or like your vision in it, or was it like a collaborative effort?
Collaborative effort, but she did the writing. Like that is her, like what you're reading, that's her voice, like her humor, and just like her inspiration. We help each other on, well, anything like that. I help with
Hmm.
because we're trying to also, we're trying to be self-employed eventually. Like we want to write books and write stories, and also help people, and by teaching them different things. So like in the next book, like there's also like, it's supposed to teach language a little bit, but also we're trying to teach like nature a little bit more, and help people learn, like kids learn about these things, and animals, have a different connection with animals. I gave a tour, this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but I gave a tour to these kids recently, socially distant tour, and when I showed them the animals, they were like, oh yeah, that's steak, that's bacon and hamburger, and like that's my Easter dinner. Like they literally said that they had no other connection to the animals, and I was kind of like horrified. Um, but the whole point is to get people a little bit more connected back and give them something special that they can hold on to. But yeah, we work on everything together. We wrote the cookbook together as well. I don't know if you know, we wrote a cookbook before this as kind of a test to see how things would go. And but these are where we really want to go, is make stories. So I'm doing the same thing. My next EP is it's 2 tracks, and then I have an audiobook with it, and it's about Waverly Flamingo, Lambo Lamb, and the manager Funky Skunky Skunk, and that's like an adult version story, because there's like weed and shenanigans in there, and real life stories that from my life that I kind of put in and also made a little fictional. But we help each other with all these things. Like she's a publishing master. Like she did all this research, and I come in and basically make the videos and do the audio work, and a little bit of writing help. But that book, she wrote that, and I'm really proud of the work she did for it.
It's a super. I mean, for me, obviously, it's a quick read. Like, it's entertaining as an adult reading it, especially knowing that people, you, I, people that I know put it together. Like I had never thought about putting kids' books together. Like I just, it didn't occur to me how it's been like 20 years since I've read it, seen a kid's book. It's like, how does it come together and how, would the authors be inspired to write it in such a way where it relates to them and they want to get their, um, perspective into the world, and trying to help kids and learn. I don't want to quite say my perspective quite yet, but do you know of what Casey's idea on this book was, or the theme of the book, or anything she wanted people to learn?
I know friendship was a big part of it. It's supposed to be like, together you guys can also accomplish things. Like Scratch was there for Oink. He wanted to make sure that, they could enjoy their time together, and that she could be happy. Like she was really distraught. So it's about friendship and persistence and um, just making your way through a situation together. And that's my opinion too. I should actually ask her that question, to see what she says about it. But I know friendship, I do know for sure friendship plays a big part of it because we talked about that.
I agree 100%, and I think that is one of the best lessons of anybody, because it's so easy, and especially like, yeah, I don't know, just to close down, to shut people out, even if somebody means well and they accidentally say the wrong thing, whatever it is. But in this book, Scratch never once puts Oink in a spot where Oink is like kicked when he's down. It's just always, we're gonna, just positivity, and it's like, fuck yeah, I'm all about that shit. No,
I love it.
that was a fun, quick read, and yeah, the art's great for it. Who came up with the idea that um, a spider is going to be in every single picture?
We both love I Spy. So we were like, how can we make like also the picture more engaging? I don't remember. I feel like that's probably also Casey. Um, I think Casey came up with that idea.
And just to
But
clarify to anybody, sorry to cut you off, who's listening right now, this page essentially says that there's a spider on every single picture in the book that you see.
Am I new?
And if you notice as well, for example, like right here, there's a spider off to like this side, and then I'll just show one more as well, which I'm sure you can see where the spider is. So, in the dozen pictures that are in, they also have uh, spiders in the picture. Do you know if that's like a reference to Charlotte's Web, or like bringing people together? Is that what it is?
yeah, that's definitely what it is. It's just like it
I
also
dig it.
fit with the picture perfectly. You know what I mean? We have so many spiders that
Especially in a
like are in
barn.
this house,
I can
in our
imagine.
house
I can
even.
imagine.
It's like this old country ass house with spiders and squirrels. Squirrels live in the attic. I'm like, whenever I try to record like saxophone or something, or like with the audio, I'm like banging on the ceiling, like shut
Oh,
the
that's
fuck
so
up.
annoying.
Like, damn
Wow.
squirrels. Yeah, they're my enemy. The squirrels, I'm literally like, I sound like a crazy old man, but I'm like, these squirrels, I
Shut
swear
up.
to
Get
God.
off my lawn.
Get off my roof.
So when do you plan on either publishing or releasing your books?
I mean, February 11th, that's gonna be an audiobook only, but the goal is to eventually also make mine are gonna be graphic novels. So I found an artist that I really like, and he's been making all my album art now, and I'm eventually I have to save up some money for that because that's a little bit more expensive
Mhm.
to get multiple. But basically, the way I've done it right now is I already bought everything up until December of this year, and I'm scheduling and writing all the stories. So this first story is it comes with 2 tracks, and then it's about 15 minutes of episode 1, and then I got another one coming in April, another set of songs, the second part of the story, and then they have like little side quests and stories too. So like, for example, I'll just like give you a preview right now. I got
Holy.
the the artwork I got for one of them is it's the Ballad of Waverly Flamingo. I haven't announced that anywhere, but it's a flamingo riding a horse, shooting a gun in the Wild West. So like that's off of the story narrative. That's not 100% like the story of me playing shows and like some of my real life shenanigans in life. That's going to be like a little bit of a fantasy. Like been watching a lot of Westworld and playing Red Dead Redemption, so I got like I want to bring that story to life, but it's gonna just continuously go up and forever until I'm done. Like,
So
you know,
to that regard, do you I imagine then have a plot, you have characters that you want to implement, but you don't necessarily have an ending, whereas it seems it's in realism as much as it is fiction.
yeah, I mean, like the So in the one that's coming out in February 11th, there's like a little run-in with a police officer. That actually happened to me in Virginia. So like when you hear that part of the story, you're gonna be like, "Damn!" But the fiction part comes with how the flamingo gets out of the situation. Like I didn't hand the police officer a crumpled up handwritten note that says
Oh,
registration valid, or like
yeah.
an old library card, and get away with it. That's
Right.
supposed to be the humor in it. But the situation
If only.
and how I got pulled over and like what I was being accused of, that is real. But it's funny. It's supposed to be lighthearted, and it also is the introduction of Lambo Lamb and how Lambo becomes an apprentice of Waverly
I
Flamingo. And
fucking love that name.
yeah,
Lambo the Lamb. I love
well,
it. I don't know why.
Lambo Lamb. Yeah, she's so fun. I don't know why I named her that. I just liked it.
It's amazing. I'm glad you did because I love it. Like I I'm super excited to hear it. So, does your audiobook then go with the music that you're writing? Or is it just sort of like both things that you're putting out together, but they're separate?
Yeah, they're copacetic, and within the actual audiobook, I also have songs that aren't part of the EP that play in part
Yo,
of it. So like you get in the car, like the Waverly gets a super awesome mix out, puts it in the car, and is listening to it, and there's no reading for a little bit. That music that doesn't come out anywhere else but in the story. So that'll never be a single that comes out. It'll be only music that you can hear in the story. So it's like you listen to the radio, who you're listening to. It's like you hear a parody song come on. It's me making a fake song for a commercial. Like
that
you
is
know how like
super
Philo
intelligent.
FM is in Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that, you know?
Wow.
I
That
mean
is
kind of like
so
that, but
intelligent. Damn. And to that regard as well, you can always put out what is I can't think of these words. I'm sorry. It's like you're putting out your music with you know, fuck. You're putting out the books with the music so that people are drawn to both. And it's like they know that when they listen to it, I'm sure it's going to be enjoyable given anybody, that they like your music. I can't wait, but that there are only those songs in the audiobooks is like a great other way to grab people into listening to the stories.
yeah, I really want the music to be stories also, like to be able to bring people to another place. Like I just want to give people the most I possibly can. Like just give them something special that's
Oh,
like I
yeah.
feel like I'm 100% giving what I like, so that if I do it exactly the way I need to, I could die and I feel okay because I did what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Not even like become rich or famous or like anything like that. Just 100% do what I can to make people also feel better when they're listening to the music, or not even just feel like some of it's just like it's humor, and there's also some sadness in it, but it's just like providing people with something special that they can enjoy.
I think that what you just said to a T is one of the most genuine things and kind hearted things that anybody would ever hear in their entire lives. Honestly, like that is such an
Oh,
incredible goal. And
yeah.
to so-
Oh,
sorry, they're
yeah.
blowing up the chat right now. I can't. I'm turning this down. Holy. Yo, you guys are geeking me out right now. Hold up, hold up. Oh my gosh. But yeah, just that somebody wants to put in their positivity and their true selves into their art and put it into the world with just passion. Like there's nothing in my opinion but goodness that comes from that, and disregarding a few tidbits here and there that could potentially have a little bit of, you got to hear the bad to get to the good, because what is good without bad? But that is so genuine and I loved it. Like I'm so happy to hear that, and I cannot wait for these audiobooks. Holy shit. How did you get, like, I don't even, how did you think of an artist, like composer, you're writing music and then you're thinking like, oh, I want to write a story for all ages to not only put my music into, but to help people show my story and my personality. Like, where did that come to mind? How did you come about that?
I th- I don't know. I just wanted. I'm kind of bored with how TV is now, and movies. They're just like they're missing something. You know what I mean? I search forever on HBO or Netflix or whatever, and it's just like garbage, garbage, garbage. Like there's a couple of things hidden in the rough, but I just wanted to make something. I'm like, why am I so bored with this? It's like, oh, well, it's because I haven't tried to make something different. Like I haven't tried to make what I like. I'm looking for what I want to make, and I haven't made it. So like there's other people that are going to make stuff like that too, and maybe it would inspire them to make something that they genuinely want to make instead of what they think everyone else wants to watch or consume at high volume. I don't think people really want to consume that. They just want to have something readily available to them, so that's why they watch it. I don't think
Right.
it's necessarily like the best thing in the world. um
So you can see yourself like running a TV show one day, or like putting out movies of your adventures and stuff.
I mean, I guess so, yeah. It's more of like, to me it's kind of already like McWavy TV, but it's just a constant stream of ideas going out, not necessarily like a big movie production or anything. But that, I mean, that would be really cool to do. Um,
I would
I mean,
watch it.
yeah, but the story. Oh, I just grew up loving books too and stories, and I just wanted to make something like bring it to life. And I don't know. It's kind of like the piano thing again. I don't actually have a good answer for this. I can't really tell you because I can't think of it. But I have been bored with television recently.
I'm
Um,
I'm glad that you are, because the
yeah.
ideas that you're telling me you have and that you're executing coming to and that are coming to fruition are that it inspires me. I'm sure it inspires everybody in the chat right now to like, you know, you are being your most genuine self, doing what you love and creating incredible concepts that are not regular. Like not everybody can think as a composer and an author. You know, it's two different talents.
It's kind of crazy to think about because I didn't really think of it as an author. I just thought of it like writing more music. But it is, I guess, right? Because I'm writing a story. It's Yeah, I don't know if people are inspired, that's incredible because I just want people to be themselves and have a chance to do like to also die and know that they completed what they needed to, or like tried their best to be what they wanted, you know? Like
Very
if for you working 9 to 5 for someone else is it awesome and you're happy, like I love that for you. But if it's not, and you're just afraid to like you're afraid to try because you're afraid of failing. Like people fail a million times, but who cares? Like I don't care how many people listen to my music or read this book if or listen to it at all. But if a couple of those people felt like that from it, that's all like all I could hope for real. Like I just want other people to feel like they can go for something that they want to do.
that
That's like so important because people make you feel like you can't do that. Like everyone, like my mom still like I mean she's starting to get better about it. But she used to be like, you got to go back to college and go back to classical piano, and like you could be playing, you know, like why aren't you taking like these types of gigs or these types of gigs? And it's like because that's not how I want to play my show. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to do that. And I know a lot of people are in that situation. Like, do I want to be a doctor or do I want to be a vet? I chose the doctor because I know that I can make more money as the doctor and have this practice versus I am connected to animals and I wish I chose the vet. Like I know somebody like that. It's like
mhm.
they should be a vet, but they're going to be a doctor. They're going to be a great doctor. But the point is they chose the doctor because that's what everyone else You know what I mean? They felt like they had to do it to be successful, to have the life that everyone is expecting for them. You know what I mean?
1,000%. And what you just said, I think everybody would agree. It's all about what's right for you, the specific individual, and only you know that. And as long as you're doing something that you enjoy and you can look at 40 years down the road and be like, I'm stoked I did this, I wouldn't have done it any other way, then you've succeeded. That is, like, in my opinion, the epitome of happiness. Like, I agree with you 1,000%. Like, I don't know how to say that better. I agree with you. It's so tough as well with parents and or best friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, whoever. If they might believe in you, but they might not think that it's plausible, because they don't see your vision, they can't taste your dreams. So it's like only you can make things happen for you. And it's such a tough fight for people. Anybody, like it's so tough to be like, no, fuck that. I'm going to be my own person. I'm going to do the way I want to do it. Because when I'm talking to my grandkids about, or talking to my dog when I'm 85 or 90 about how, I lived my life, I want to make sure I'm happy with everything I did. And it's, wealth is not about money. It's about what makes you happy and that you're enjoying your relationships and your life around it. And it's like, I you know, blessings to anybody and the way that they do it. But exactly, if you love, I genuinely believe there's something out there for anybody, for everybody, whether it be figuring things out on your own or working that 9 to 5. But yeah, as if you love it, then you've succeeded at whatever age you are, you know?
I was just gonna say that it doesn't matter at what point. If like you today decided, you know what, I hate my job, I gotta figure something out. Great. While you're working that job, spend your free time looking for what you want. You may not even know what you're interested in yet. You just know that that's not quite it. Spend your free time looking
Yeah,
for it,
try shit out.
and yeah, there's no age limit for it.
A
Like who
thousand
knows?
percent.
If I get blessed to be like 80 years old, maybe I'll try to like play professional golf. Like that could be cool.
Fuck yeah. Right? Exactly. Exactly. 100%. So I'm curious, what keeps you inspired? What keeps you motivated?
um, I don't feel like I've lived my purpose, but I don't know. Sometimes I think about this all the time. So I'm like, do I have a purpose, or like, why do I have these desires for wanting something more, like to be doing something differently, like not spending my whole day working for someone else? Like, why do I want to why am I so set on making my ideas happen? I'm obsessed with it. Like, if they don't, like, if I didn't put out, start, like, if I don't keep writing these stories, I'm going to be like really upset with myself and depressed and angry. Like, it took me a long time to actually get to this point too. I've been angry for a lot of years, like really down and depressed and like just like not it. And I was like, why am I like this? It's like because I wasn't living the way I was supposed to. I was like partying and stuff and not working on the stuff that is important to me. So it's like, make a choice. Do you want to live like that forever and be like miserable by the time whatever? Like, not anyone else. I mean, me. Like,
Hmm.
I could either continue to do that or do that, like do what I want. And I'm still obsessed and I still feel hungry for it. And I think that's what the motivation is. It's like I can't stop, because if I stop, then I'll hate myself. Like there's
So
nothing else matters. It's like I have to do it.
I guess that is closely related to like death being the motivator. Just like you know that with your place on the world, with your like certain with your specific consciousness now, how you think, your genuine self, you know that you need to do these things because if like when let's when the time comes, if you don't have it out, you're gonna be like, fuck, that was a waste.
Yeah, I think I'd probably like be kicking myself. Like I could be trying harder now even, but I know like everyone needs a break. Like I
Balance,
deserve
yeah,
to
yeah.
play a little bit of Red Dead Redemption,
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure. For sure.
But yeah, I also should still kick it up because I want to be there and I need to spend more time like developing and seeing where I can go. There's just so many things that I don't know about life. I don't want to be complacent and and stop trying to learn and see new things. Just I think it comes back to like a little bit of like I, I think everyone loves comfort, right? It feels good to be like in your bed with like something fuzzy and just like watching something. Sorry about that.
You're good. No sweat.
Um, yeah, I just lost my thought. But the point is I can't stop. That's the motivator. I need to see what I can do.
I
Like
think
I can't quit. Like I could be old and I'd still be trying to play
mhm.
music. Like or I guess I'm old now. I'm well not really. I'm 28. But you know what I mean? Like I used to freak out about that too. Like, oh my God, I'm 28 and I still am not where I thought I would be. But it's like, well, I never thought I would also be doing what I am doing right now. Like so maybe things are just a little different and I'm still on my path, you
Right.
know? Like what
And it's
I
all
don't know.
thought process, it's perspective. And, if you're looking at it like, fuck, I should be playing arenas by now, then you'll never, how will you ever get anywhere when you're like, when you're living in the past, essentially? You can only do what you execute on. And, if it, everybody needs the balance. You work yourself crazy, it changes your perspective of what you're doing eventually. And then it's like, wait, what am I doing? Like 2 years ago, I knew what I was doing, but right now I over executed and I have no idea where I'm at or my next 5 years. Like I definitely believe in that balance. I do definitely believe in 2 to 5 year plans as well. But no, I agree with you 1,000%. It's like, the thought process on what you're doing day by day is super important. And I mean, at least from what I see, you posting pretty much every day, you have new grooves, new funk. Like it seems like you are happy and inspired and motivated. And then you execute, which that is an incredible package.
Thank you. I don't really know what else to say. Like thanks for noticing and listening and like being engaged with that from the beginning. Cause that's like a special thing to have people like that, you know? Like
It,
that's what makes it that's what the whole point. When you said the thing about the arena, like that's actually what got me a little bit messed up and taken away from it. It's like I wanted that so bad I stopped giving people what they wanted. Like that's when it becomes more of like an ego trip in my own sense. It's like, oh, it's all about me. I have to play this thing. Like I have to be at that level. It's like, no, fuck that. You're there for the people. Like that's it's not about you standing on the stage and people watching you. It's like not it at all. That's why when you watch Tosh Sultana and she's in that moment like that, that's why you feel like that because she is doing it for the people. She's
mhm.
not doing it because it's her on the spot. It's like when she's playing there, you can tell she's back on the street busking again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Giving for to to help other people out, like to give them what they need. So I appreciate that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
100%. It helps motivate me. I mean, I grew up, I didn't really have role models per se. I had people that I respected and vibed with that I wanted to emulate part of their personality because I enjoyed what they did, whether it be as an outside perspective or inside. It's like I've always been motivated by people that inspire me, where it's not Brad Pitt, it's not Peter Gabriel, it's not the best drummer in the world. It's motivating to see that you can get there and better, but it's like the people that are close to me that are going through it, they're grinding, they're passionate, and they genuinely care about people around them. That is what has mainly motivated me, and that is what I saw in you from the day I met you through all of your posts leading up to now. It's like I can tell that you genuinely are a fan of humanity and want to propel your soul on like of positivity onto this weirdly negative blanket that the world has over it. So 100%, I love what you do. Honestly, it's very inspiring, and I'm sure for everybody else, they would feel the same way.
well, thank you.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Um, So, with your sample packs and programs and stuff, you started recently releasing different ones. How did that come to mind for you? Where you're like, I want the world to be able to use my sounds. Like I know a lot of people have, producers have kick packs and hi-hat, all that shit, but when did it click for you that you're like, I want people to have my stuff?
This is gonna sound hokey, but I just wanted to give people more value. Like I wanted to find a way to give something that I like. People ask me a lot of times to do collabs, and I actually like I just can't handle it. It's too much. Like also, especially like I'm so particular, so I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So I always say yes, and then I end up hurting people's feelings anyways because they're like, "Where's the track?" And I'm like, "Shit, I don't want to tell you that I don't want to do it, but I can't." So I just it's the wrong way to handle it. And then they wait and they're like, "Where's the song?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm like hurting this person." So it's like, how can I give something where it's like that's what they're looking for? And I was like, the sample packs. That's what I can do. I can give that essence, and then they can make it in their own way, the way that they need to. And I don't have to have my name necessarily associated with it because I get so like particular about it. You know what I mean? It's like so
100%.
important to me. It's like I don't want to do something that I'm not 100% into. Um, and the main point also was though to give people that value, like give them something that they really need and are looking for. I saw these guys on Twitter doing it too. Kalen Ellis and the Count, like they make really incredible drum packs and stuff. And um, I liked using their percussion as well. So to get that like that how they organize their stuff and what they're giving to people, I was like, I should do this. They do it also because they sell sample packs. So like that's a cool goal, but I don't know if I would sell sample packs. For me, it's really still trying to like provide something in lieu of collaborating with people. It's like, oh, I don't have now. It's kind of more like I'm like, oh, I don't have time at this exact moment, but let me make you a custom sample pack for your song, and that's what I do instead. You know what I mean?
So people now will send you tracks saying I want to collab, or send you ideas like I want to start this collab with you, and then you would hear the song or you would hear their style and be like, I'm busy, but I think you could vibe with these sounds.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. Some people also commission me, which has been great. Like I like making extra money like that. But when I do the Soul Fuel Sunday packs, those are just to provide free value to opened out to anyone. Some other people I do send like little samples to here and there just to try and say, hey, like, how about here you go? You know what I mean?
I just thought about it as well. That makes it so open to where if somebody needed anything over such a broad range, you could coordinate that and give it to them, because not many people can think, oh, I need, they'll think, I know McWavy would sound dope on this, but they might not be able to think, oh, I need the tenor to play the, A sharp through, A sharp and then switch to a whatever diminished it, and it's like you would hear that, you know, like only the specific people, not many people can think in many instruments. And that's such an incredible thing to be able to grab your sounds and be like, you know, like this is dope. Like, I feel like not that, you said you don't want to make money or whatever, but like that is something that I feel like a lot of people would pay for if it's, a sample pack, you know, of what you think they could use, or like that would go great with that song because you would hear what they want you to hear, but they're not going to hear what you hear.
I'm definitely not opposed to making the money too. Like that's cool. Um, but uh for at least for the Sunday ones, 100%, that's me trying to get like it's a little bit of practice too to get better at giving people like trying to figure out what people want and what they need for their songs. Um, but yeah, when some of the customs like people have paid me for those and that's great, and then they take it and I basically am like, don't put my name anywhere on it and it's all yours. Like that's your song now. Like that's your thing. Um, but I think it'd be cool someday to get a major placement, like have saxophone on something on Interscope Records or something like that. Like that'd be wild. I don't ever want to sign to a label because they
Hmm.
take all of your stuff. We talked about this a little bit the
Yeah, a
other
little
day,
bit. Yeah, yeah,
but to be a collaborator on someone's Grammy Award winning album, that'd be sweet. I would totally do that.
for
And
sure.
this is good. This is good practice for that. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? to make little stems like that for people. But also, it's what I didn't realize I was going to enjoy so much was hearing what people come up with. Like, I made a piano pack that was like mostly like chill piano sound, like classical piano. Wasn't classical piano, but it was just like that kind of open and pretty.
Mhm.
People made some great hip hop beats and like some really cool stuff and made the samples and turned them in ways that I never would have heard ever. So hearing that is really cool. Um,
I never
yeah.
thought about that. Yeah, that's interesting. Like sending them, in addition to them wanting your sound in their track, them creating a track out of your sound. Because you know, how can you think like somebody else? That's an amazing thing. I never thought of that. That's kind of.
Yeah,
I feel like
you
that's kind of
can't.
flattering. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Damn, that's dope. Fuck yeah. Neat. So I guess another thing is, are you? I'll do this one first. How would you, if and at any way, like to better engage your community?
Um, I want to give back more. Like I want to start like it doesn't matter how much money it is, but for me, when I was able to buy my VSTs, like that just changed my world. Like for a little bit, I probably shouldn't say this, but like for a little bit, I had a couple of like hacked ones that were, illegally downloaded. That's just no way to do it. It sucks. And it like messes your computer up kind of, and you can't update it. I want to be able to like sponsor people. Like I want to be able to pay, like start a little fund and like
Oh,
new people that are trying to learn music and stuff and need these instruments and need a computer and don't have access to it. I want to be able to pay for that or like help pay for that and give whatever I can. I also want to like outside of music even give a little bit more to people that don't have what I have. Like I take having a hot shower for granted. Like I complain when my shower gets cold too quick. Like that's lame as hell. Like people don't have running water. So
it's a
I'd like to
very
give
good
back to
point.
like that's outside of my community because I don't live like that. I'm blessed to not live like that. But within music community, I really want to help people who don't necessarily have the money and the privilege to have things like to to be starting out and have a computer with all the stuff that you need and a keyboard and monitors and everything. Like you're good. Like you can get where you want to go pretty quick, but like to work, it's been like 10 years of me collecting these things now. Um, I just want to help people get there faster. And that's just one way. Also for the community, I think I'd like to help people enjoy. I'm not like this like preaching like sober stuff or anything. Like this is the first time I've gone like a month without smoking weed. You know what I
Congrats.
mean?
Hell yeah.
That's like it's nothing like it's not like I don't party. I'm just saying I want to also help people learn to enjoy themselves without necessarily like having to get too fucked up for it,
Hmm. For
because
sure.
you'll find that you love music and you love the party as much without necessarily being like super on anything.
A
Um, I,
1000%.
I'm not really sure how to do that other than to try and do it myself, and show how I can be different. Maybe I don't know. That's something I've really got to work on. That's a great question. I should write that out and try to answer it myself. Like write out a bullet and find ways to help more.
I'll send
'Cause
it to you right now.
yeah, thanks. That whoever asked that, thank you. That's a great question. That's a
That
great
was me.
question.
That was one of the ones
Oh,
that I could.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. No, I
I
was
love
genuinely
that.
curious. So it sounds like initially it's like you kind of wanted to create a label, but then it sounds like you want to create a nonprofit to help the community. So it's not musicians alone, it's anybody that doesn't have the things that other people may be blessed with.
No label, just people like me helping fund them on their creative process, like and finding other people that will donate and help do that. You need a microphone set up and you want to be a rapper. Okay, here's a microphone and some like a windscreen. You know what I mean? A little here's a little start for you.
For sure. Uh,
Anything.
I think that is an incredible thing to want to do. It's amazing for me to hear that. And in addition to what you're saying with enjoying your sobriety at shows or not getting too fucked up, it's so easy to enjoy yourself a little more when you're enjoying yourself. However, it gets very difficult to enjoy your genuine self once it hits a point where you're used to partying all the time. And I remember when I started getting fucked up and I started going to shows, I might have a drink or two, but I was essentially, I blazed a little bit, but I was essentially sober, as you are if you're a stoner and you smoke a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just more of like take the anxiety away and you're chilling. But, once I started going to shows like that, I literally felt my brain creating endorphins and dopamine. I felt it at the time like I was fucked up a little bit. And it actually took me like a year around that to like switch from partying to enjoying myself at shows. And I love being at shows sober. You don't black out, you remember everything, you can meet people and be genuine with them. I love that idea that you just said. Cuz not I didn't really think about it till you just said it like that. It was something I needed to wean myself off cuz I realized I didn't remember half the 3/4 of what I was a part of. And it's like, fuck, I would love to remember that show. I've met cool people, but I don't remember the conversations right now. It's like you're onto something for sure. I
Yeah, I'm trying to keep doing that even when shows come back. Like I'm gonna edit my rider and put like seltzers or something. It's
I
like,
still want
yeah.
this, but I also want seltzer. Nah,
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta just try it and see what happens. Keep
that's
going.
I commend you for. I mean, yeah, what you just touched on is amazing, and especially it's difficult to think of like to visualize that perspective of like people don't have running water. People don't have the luxury of a microwave or an oven. And it's like, we'll pop shit in an air fryer and like some people don't even know what that is. And it's like, damn, I would, in addition to that, love to help people. Please let me know how I can in the near future. We can definitely talk more about that. But no, that's an amazing, like positive, genuine humanity thought. And I love it. Sorry, a little tangent there. I'm a huge fan of your person of you, but do you have anything in like a 2 to 5 year plan that you can share that's like, a part of clear goals now that whether it be playing shows or owning a venue, anything like that?
Um, I want to have a real full length album. Like I don't have any albums that I made. I only have these smaller projects, and I want it to be pressed on vinyl, and the I want it to be that graphic novel. I want the album to be a graphic novel. So like all the different um all the artwork goes to each different song, and there's a story. The whole thing is a written out story too. So you get to read when you get the book. It's an actual book with a sleeve that you pull it out, and it's like a beautiful marbled, like cool color, printed vinyl. Just like the whole thing's a piece of art. I don't care how much it costs. Like it'd be limited edition anyways, so that I don't know. Maybe I'd have the money to do it, but to make more. But I just wanted to make this really special piece. And then my ultimate dream is to play at the Gorge. It's an outdoor venue, and I would really like to play at Red Rocks. I would really like that. And I would like to get to play in another country. I was blessed to get to have a set and play at this festival in Panama once. That was
Oh
kind of a
damn.
fluke, but I would love to go on a international tour with friends too. Like it'd be like homies, like everyone there is part of the crew, and like we're touring and having these experiences and eating good food together and exploring these new cultures. Like I would love to do that.
I
My two to Is that what you mean by like a plan? Like those are goals, I guess. It's not necessarily a plan, but
Yeah,
I'm
it all
trying to
goes
work to make it
yeah,
happen.
it goes hand in hand. You know, obviously we, you know, given 2020 the way it was, we can't really ever know what the future holds, but just in terms of how you think of your career, you know, what you want to like how you see yourself in 2 to 5 years, you know, in a year of like this is where I want to be and what I want to do. No, you answered the question for sure.
I definitely want to be self-sufficient. Like also I would, if I was only making money off of like basically able to put myself full time into creating, what could I be doing? Like right now I work a ridiculous workload. Like we do I make all the stuff for the park, but on top of that we also have the duties as caretaker. So that's already like that's like I mean that's two jobs as one. And then on top of that, I just fill in the music. Like, what would happen if I did that for my 100% of the time? And the only thing I was doing outside of that was like working on my like fitness or like some gardening stuff. Like, I could be really doing something. Like, that's how I want to be living.
So you would
So,
like to shift out of the daytime jobs and gigs into music and wellness.
and yeah, and making these stories full time, making these books, all of them, the ones with Casey, my own, and new stories together, just seeing where we can go with it. And also, we're trying to help people learn to grow their own food. That's once again, that's Casey kind of leading the way, but I come in with the video making and helping create the stuff for it. But I would really like to bring that to life, and everyone can grow their own food and have good quality food at home. You know what
Right.
I mean? And I don't think they realize that even if you live in a city in an apartment, like you can make it happen.
For sure.
Um,
Well, if you have ideas on how to make that happen, I would love to hear it because I have no idea myself, and I'm in, you know, top floor of an apartment building, so it's a fucking annoying trip, and like we don't have a garden or anything like that. So I would love to hear your, you know, your take on how we could grow things here that aren't just house plants.
do you have like any open window areas like where you can get some light?
For
You can
sure.
also get some grow lights. It's kind of like I don't know if you ever done this, but like grow some weed. It's the same thing, but with some
I don't mind buying
vegetables.
it. You
You
know,
know.
true, true.
But not that hard. You just get some lights and plant everything inside. You take care of it. You turn the light on. You turn the light off.
True. I guess I didn't think it like in theory it sounds very easy, but I guess it's just yeah. You seem to be a pro, so
N- nah, I honestly, if you wanted to talk to somebody that is like on their way to being that, that'd be Casey for sure.
Choppy
She's
Yoppy in the chat right now said super easy hydroponic setup for peppers or herbs and veggies indoors.
yeah, we have a hydroponic setup downstairs where we're growing herbs. I can take a little photo for you if you'd like after this and
Yeah,
send it. Yeah,
I'm super
we also have a
curious.
greenhouse.
Oh shit. I guess yeah, that makes sense being on the farmland. Yeah.
But
Damn.
if you don't have a greenhouse, the hydroponic setup that is great, like what Jared said or Choppy Oppy said. Um,
Took me two
that's a
hours
great
to
setup.
realize this guy was related to Eric. That's funny. Oh shit. I might have met him then in the past. I might know him. Um, where so I have a couple more things I want to touch on, but I want to go through chat real quick to see if there are any. I saw one question by my buddy Matt. I want to see if there are any other ones that anybody asked for you. Just give me 1 minute here.
No sweat. Shoot away. If anyone has any questions, happy to answer anything. You know what I mean? Open season.
I just found his. You guys have maybe met actually. I don't. Do you know Matt Leone? He's a like photographer, videographer. He's worked Moonrise a couple times. He's worked with like Cashmere Cat and Diplo and a couple people.
That's crazy. I mean, if I have, I'm really sorry. I don't remember, but
He's a
that's
he's a
probably.
cool dude.
I get nervous at shows too. Well, I used to get like really nervous, and then people tell me their names, and I'm like, I'm Sarah in my brain.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
It's like I know your face, but no,
it's like,
100%.
damn.
That's awesome. So he asked, "How did you meet Andrew Gumas, the legend, and how was having a manager? How has having a manager? Holy, I cannot talk. How has having a manager? Grammar's weird, man. Okay, I'm gonna start this over. My buddy Matt Leone asked, "How'd you meet Andrew Grumas the legend, and how has having a manager helped your career?"
Um,
Jesus.
I met Andrew. I was opening for, I think it was late night radio at Baltimore Soundstage, and the way that people reacted, he got interested in the project. He liked seeing people naturally get pulled in and engrossed in it, like they, which was different, I think, for what he was used to seeing, because people usually like are there to like dance and like have a good time. And what happened instead is they came out from kind of like drinking and like being at the back of the club, and they just came and watched and were like, I remember him telling me about that, like this, like the staring and like being like just fully in it, you know. Um, and so he worked with me for a little bit, and now I'm working with Jared. Um, that started this year, which I'm stoked about. Um, uh, Having a manager has helped me. Well, Andrew helped me in a lot of ways too. He taught me how to speak to people and ask for what I wanted. He was great with contracts, like great guy with contracts. Just always made sure how to read things. Like I didn't know what to look for, so he helped me look for those things. And
What do you mean? Sorry to sidetrack. What do you mean by you didn't know what to look for?
basically, he covered my ass. Like he made sure I got paid, and like little clauses and little things that people, I don't even know how to explain it to you, but like they slip little things in sometimes where um it just wouldn't work. Like a radius clause for someone like at me at my certain level, like it would have hurt me deeply, and he would help me remove things like that. um I've moved past that a little bit now, but like he and also like making sure that I get like sound checks and proper equipment, and like people know things, because I showed up to, I've had a couple of gigs before that were like, it was crazy, you know what I mean? Like you show up and it's just like not a good situation,
Yeah,
really.
unorganized and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and he helped me get those right. Like he was really good at that. And he also helped me bring my value up. He got me appropriately paid for shows. Like he was a great negotiator. Um
The man. Fuck yeah.
yeah,
Happy to hear.
yeah.
So
Um
you're saying you guys just met this past year? Do you mean 2020?
no, I knew Andrew previous to this. I've known
Well, Jared, I mean Jared.
no, I've known Jared since 2017.
Okay, gotcha.
And we met at the 8x10 as well, which is
Dope.
funny because that's where you and I met. I'm
It's
pretty
the
sure that was where we
spot.
met.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah.
that show.
And we were both opening for Russ Liquid.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, and that was my first show really in Baltimore. My first like bigger show, and that was just like wonderful experience. And I've known him for a couple years, and like I said earlier, like after like Revibe and just like seeing how hard he's worked and everything, like it was just like obvious choice for me.
Right.
Uh, Andrew and I are still great friends. Like I love him a lot, but like he was in California, and we just weren't talking or working as much anymore. So I didn't have like, I wanted so badly to turn this year into something that could help propel me. I needed some help, you know what I mean? And Jared has been really great at that. So hopefully someday it'd be cool to have like everybody on board, you know, like, cause Andrew has some really great skill sets. You know what I mean?
100%. It's
Sorry.
amazing to find. No, you're good. It's amazing to find people that complement our ability in just counter type ways where it's like you may not go up to the manager and say, "Where's my fucking money?" but he will, and it's like that is the easiest example of what I'm saying. It's amazing to find people in business that complement what you do and believe in your path. That's W's in the chat for Jared.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he also helped really put that show on Revibe. Like that's incredible.
The
Like no one
beach one
else
you're
has done
saying?
that. Yeah, that one I was talking about at the very beginning of this. Like
Fat W's in the chat
yeah,
for Jared.
that was just an incredible experience. That the amount of work and dedication it takes to like pull something like that off is just insane. He runs his own label as well, and has quite a few artists. Like, and he manages all of it. Like, it's no big deal. Like, we talk every week, or whenever we need to. He's always helping me set something up. Like having someone like that in your corner, especially when like I, I don't actually, I'm not on the level of someone touring nationally, and to get that attention is just like you don't get that, like that's such an important thing to have, and like that loyalty is like so special and important and valued. So I just really appreciate it, and all the help I've ever gotten from a manager. A manager can really help you out, in different
100%.
ways, and take you on different little path. Like you have this section of your life, then this section of your life, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without Andrew, and I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at without Jared.
Right.
Like their help has been crucial to me.
It's amazing when people can see your strong suits and they're not afraid to say like, shut up, you need to do this, for lack of better terms. It's like, just trust me, I got you. And then when you do, it's like, damn. Like, I love when those relationships form and consist through partnerships. Like that's it's so amazing. I've definitely met a couple people that I felt like that with, and it's definitely an incredible relationship builder and way to understand people, as having a manager and understanding your position to them and theirs to you. It's like, you can't do it alone. You never can. It's always about, teamwork and relationship building and kindness, and helping out. And yeah, it definitely is what it's all about. That's amazing to hear that they're these super kind and generous people have been willing to extend their arm, or vice versa, and you work through it to play a show like at a beach, overlook it, where people are overlooking you in the ocean. Like, that is a success. That's amazing. Like that, you say it's like a dream. It's like that's a dream for me. Like I would fucking love that. Yeah, it's dope. That's super dope. So Buck and Flock, thanks for the interview. What would you say is the one of the most rewarding parts of your own musical mentorship, and then perhaps most challenging?
Like what people who've taught me. Do you mean like what is the most rewarding that I've been taught from other people?
Parts of your own.
Mentorship.
We'll get back to him in a second, given he follows up on that. I don't know exactly what he means. Let me reread that real quick. Thanks for the. What would you say is one of the most rewarding parts of your own musical mentorship? Or perhaps your own teachings, and then perhaps most challenging. Um, so Buck and Flock, do you know what he means right now?
I don't, and I'm embarrassed to say that.
No, it's
Sorry.
completely okay. I don't as well. That's yeah. I'm trying to. It sounds like a. Okay, you mentioned earlier that you like to mentor and guide young musicians. Ah, okay.
Oh, I would love to be able to do that. I don't know if I've per se done that just yet. Maybe I have. Well, I guess I have. I mean, people, not to the extent that I would like, but anytime someone asks me a question, or like anyone that's ever reached out to me, I answer it to the full extent that I can. Like, you want to know 100% every single last minute bit of gear and plug-in that I use, I tell people. I'll let them know. It's like anyone should have access to that information. It's not like if you're confident in your sound and like what you can create, there's no reason why you shouldn't tell somebody how they can do that. You know what I
Right,
mean?
for
I
sure.
mean, I get some things. Well, actually, not really. I'm in the completely open book idea, but um, like I had a girl that I knew from college, and she like wanted to be a country music star, and I just told her kind of like what I did to get some gigs. And when I was first starting out, like the very beginning, when nobody, like there's a point when nobody knows you at all. And that's where she was at. And she was like, well, how do I get these gigs? And I kind of like worked with her through that. And she's still doing her thing and working towards that. But the extent in which that I should do that, I should probably volunteer some of my time and find a way to, like, maybe there's valuable skill sets I could teach people, but you don't realize sometimes at what level you know things until you find out somebody knows less than that. You know what I'm saying?
It's very well put.
Because I'm always like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like,
Yeah,
where am I?
right. And especially when you constantly are comparing yourself to where you want to be, it's like these people know everything and you know this much compared to their knowledge. But then there are also people all the way down here where you can help them and they look at you to that same effect.
Yeah, and like it's crazy to think that at one point I had to learn how to arm a track. Right? Like that's crazy. That was hard for me to click the little red record button, to not know that part, you know.
Right.
And that's where, you know, it is valuable to help people and answer any questions they have. I'll always do that. Whatever. And if I don't know it, I'll say that. You know what I mean? Does that answer the question? Or
I think that is definitely one perspective of it. I took another perspective of what he said as well, or I thought of another one. He just said as well, you spoke of mentors that you had helped move you along, all the way from hand-holding mentor to people helping you get paid properly for gigs. So I think he might mean as well, from what I got of it as well, is how you took your own knowledge into propelling yourself, and what's the most challenging part of that for you?
um I'd say not getting complacent and like feeling like I know everything, like, or relying on necessarily, like, with my piano teacher, when she did teach me those things, like, I also relied on her sometimes to give me the answer. Like, I didn't want to have to read the music because I knew she would help me learn it in the way that for me was easier, which was like the playing and the listening. So basically taking all the stuff that she did teach me, she did also teach me the other stuff. And it was up to me to go from there and say, I have the desire to want to learn how to read because I want to play Debussy again. Like I want to play the Chopin music. I actually picked that up recently because I was pissed off that I lost the skill to play some of these songs like that. But I'm actually, it's so funny. I wonder if I have the book with me right here. No, I don't. It's behind me. Um, it has all the notes that she wrote in there. It's like LR, like where it fits
Hmm.
in between what finger numbers go in. So it's kind of funny that was a question because I'm now revisiting that help and using it as an adult and trying to like think of what they would have thought of. Also, I just saw that my power is at 20%. Sorry. I'm gonna
Not,
see if I can. I'll do this for a second. See if
oh,
I can bring this down.
yeah, no worries.
That'll help out. There we go.
Sweet.
Um,
I think that answered it. And yeah, he did say how you made the most of their teaching, so to speak. Yes. So I think in addition to what you just said, the first part of that answer was also what he meant. So you did understand him more than I did.
Sweet. Yeah. And with Andrew, when I first started working with him, I still look at those contracts that he made for me and I try to like figure out what I want that's new and use those same things to move forward with them. And like he was the first person to set me up with a like a rider and like get that, and a technical rider too with a stage plot. Like, and he knew that from his work with Steez, you know? Like I didn't know any of that. I didn't know I needed to submit that stuff or like how to also speak to the technicians to be respected when I show up.
Hmm.
Like there's a big difference when you show up in like I I've showed up at venues before and they basically are like they think I'm the merch girl. And that sucks. But then there's also like when you have the man like someone like him or like even Jared like making an advance and doing the work and showing you how to do that, then you show up and they're like, oh yeah, your sound check is at this time, and they're more respectful
Hmm.
and they treat you differently because like building up to that had the right you have the right conversations.
Right. And that's another thing that I believe 1,000% you should get to know. Like, as a musician and artist, anybody in any industry, in anything you do, including Twitch streaming, you know, it's so important to meet people, to not take anybody for granted, and make sure that you remember your relationships. And that's something like building my band. It's like I did my best to make sure I went up to every security guard, bartender, you know, obviously the owners, the technician, but it's like literally making sure that everybody's good, that I know everybody's names, and because everybody's a person doing a job, you know, all because they're working security and they don't own the place, it doesn't make their struggles less than the owner, you know, and it's like that perspective, in my opinion as well, super fucking important. And as you just mentioned, it helps their understanding to look at you as the artist saying, oh, they're actual people. Like they're approachable and I can talk to them. They're not just some, you know, pompous whatever kid like just trying to play this stage and go. It's like, this is a real person that I can walk up to and ask a question if I need to. And that's super important. Oh, I agree 1,000%. And yeah, that's like something that I learned from a lot of people, you know, and growing up with my brother and the people that I did, seeing how they did it. And it's like an incredible lesson. One of the most important ones for me that I learned. So do you feel the use of your social medias bringing you more fans? And does the use of social media bring you closer to your community, do you feel?
I think it's starting to. I think it's especially right now because of coronavirus, people have been more aware and watching it. But um, I think the biggest part is I've I got a lot of opportunities that I maybe necessarily not wasn't necessarily ready for at the time. Like as in like I didn't pull in a bunch of tickets because no one knew me. But when they showed up and they heard me, they became my fans because they loved it. And then they followed me on social media and then they shared it with their other friends. And that's where it gets I got really blessed and lucky to get on some of these shows. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? When no one knew who I was, I got a good chance. And then all those people were there and then they became fans. But the social media definitely is helping. And I've Jared's been giving me great advice on how to also like find ways for people to see it so it doesn't get buried in things like don't put the link on this thing and put it in the comments and
Hmm.
like just little like tricks and stuff like that because Facebook is crazy. They don't
Instagram
want
as
you.
well. Yeah, the algorithms for
It's
certain
like
social medias are so backwards and not conducive to growing. They like keep you in the dirt. Yeah, it's weird.
but if you get on the wave or like you're right, you're on the
McWavy.
thing. Yeah, if you're doing the thing right, it will help you. Like I had one video the other day that was shared by somebody who had a bigger following, and what did they do? All of the people were like, "Oh my god, it's that girl you played with that time." It's like, yes, thank you, dude. Like that's the other thing. When bigger artists help you out, like that changes you like changes things for you.
Hmm.
So when I get to a certain level, when I have more influence on things, I will absolutely be doing that because it makes all the difference. It shows that you fuck with that person, you fuck with that sound and music, even though they don't have the clout to make you look cool too. It's not like, oh, I took a photo with this person in the studio because I'm trying to like promote something. It's like, no, I love this person's music and I don't care that I'm not going to benefit from it. I boosted it. Like that is huge thing to do, you know? Like that is so helpful. Or to give someone a chance to book them for a show with you that's like you already sold it out. But you know this person will like it'll change it like people need to hear it. That people have done that for me and that is it's changing my life. It's helping me do what I'm supposed to do. So I will absolutely try to do that for other people as it
That's
goes.
that's one of the main reasons as well why I believe that relationship building is one of, if not the most important things in everything you do, because it's not about clout. At the end of the day, like money doesn't matter because it's not real. You know, it's like that equivalent. You could have a billion followers, but it doesn't mean you're liked by anyone. You know, it doesn't mean that these 1,000 people will share your shit. But it's like if you're genuine, you talk to people and you see that people like you and you like them. It's like what is hitting the share button? You know, it's like I like this person. I want to propel this person. You know, it's like it's not about that game anymore. It's more about how can we help, you know, each other and our community all benefit because obviously they like our music and we like each other. You know, like they might not be able to express it the way that you do. Uh, I don't think I said that properly. You know, if do you know what I mean?
No, I know 100% what you mean. And I know it was a little bit of a tangent from the social media thing, but my point is like social media can be a huge tool, especially when you have that support and help from other people, even when it doesn't benefit them.
Hmm.
Like, um, it was my friend Jason Leach. Like he shared my video. He had no reason to share that. Like I haven't done anything. Like we're just friends. He shared my video, and all the people that follow him religiously were like, "Oh my god, I love this." So it's like, "Thank you, Jason, dude. Like, thank you
Right.
for doing that." It's just like it's such an important. That's how social media can be a huge, powerful tool. If you, unless you like, you can. It's also helpful if you know how to use it well. But I'm still learning that part. But
Aren't aren't we all?
yeah.
Yeah. It's so many different outlets and facets. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. That's cool to hear though. So you should. So ultimately, though, it seems that a lot of your fans have, you know, it's just like you play a show for them, though, for example, and then they're infatuated and then they follow you from there. But like, have you had anybody like message you on social media and be like, oh, wow, disregarding Jason Leach sharing your post, but message you like, oh, wow, I just came across your post, you know, because a friend liked it and you're amazing. Like, have you had messages like that?
Yeah, definitely.
That's
I
cool.
shouldn't discount those as much. I always try to maybe I always look at it like, oh, I attribute it to this specific person or thing, but that actually happens a lot. So maybe I should look at that as more of a thing that's a big help. Um,
I would say 100%. And as a
yeah.
side note to that, you then they are, and this is another reason why I fucking love social media, specifically Instagram, because when you are reaching out to these artists, you know, when people reach out to you, you are responding. You know, it's like that's the most genuine thing ever. You know, back in the day, there wasn't Instagram for you to message like somebody that you follow or you know to be like hey I love your music and they can respond saying thank you. That was never a thing. And like I love that you can do that now and most people run their Instagrams no matter how big they get, you know, or Facebook pages. I know it's a little bit different of like an outlet, but yeah, those people, you know, it's that once you reply to them and then they reply back, you have that community builder, you have that relationship. And I agree. I think it's super important, whether it be 1 by 1 or 10 by 10.
I agree. And it means a lot too to to hear that back from people. I mean, not me. I mean, like having conversations with people in general, or like for me to be able to reach out to somebody that I admire and say that. And when you get a response, that makes you feel good. It makes you feel great.
For sure. And
Uh,
it's, you know, you grew
yeah.
up playing music, like you've been composing forever. Like it's a great feeling. I know, you know, for me, I'm confident for you. It's like when you're playing your own music, you put your soul into it when you write it. You know, that's a part of you. And when people compliment that, it's like that's why I live, you know? It's like it's the best thing. Like, yeah. Oh, a
Yeah,
thousand percent. Do you have any shows booked for the near future?
um I have a live stream coming up.
Oh
I'll give
shit.
more details on that when that's 100% solidified, but it's looking to be really really cool and unique, and I'm super excited because I've been working on new music specifically for the show.
Fuck
Well,
yeah.
in general, because I want to give people a new show. So many live streams, they're all recorded, so I got to have
Mhm.
some new stuff for people. So I'm really excited about that. I have one show booked Once I can't say, like, we'll see if that happens. If it happens, you'll know. But coronavirus, pesky bitch.
To say
We'll
the
see.
least.
We'll see if it gets announced, it gets announced. If it doesn't, then I'll be waiting another year. If I'm lucky, we'll see.
For sure.
But I would love to play more shows though. Like if you're a booking agent and you're trying to like do something that's socially distanced or cool, like hit me
McWavy.
up.
Oh,
Hit
for
up
sure.
Jared. Jared up.
Fuck yeah. So that is what I have for you, or the questions that I had. Is there anything that you would like to add, or in the chat as well, if anybody wants to add anything else, any other questions or comments?
I mean, I personally don't have anything extra to add, but like I said, open season. Ask anything you'd like.
Well, at this point, yeah, I'm gonna just say people that followed me donated a little bit of bits and subs and stuff like that. Is there a country that you would love to visit and perform, like specifically?
Oh yeah, I'd love to go to Thailand. I mean, that'd be incredible. Or Japan, or I'd like to go to France and the UK and everywhere. Everywhere. I'd love to go everywhere.
I've heard
That would,
incredible things about Thailand.
yeah, it just looks so beautiful and the food is so good. I mean, not that I've been to Thailand and eat the food, but I watch Food Network.
Enough said, right? Fuck yeah.
So, oh man, that'd be so awesome. Someday, I really hope that happens. It'd be awesome.
I could see you on the what's it called? On the Circle like recordings. They normally do, at least from what I've seen, uh foreign like either British or French, whatever. Like I don't think I've seen an American. Is FKJ American? He's not, right? Or he's not
No, he's French.
Right. So I haven't seen anybody, but I feel like you would be perfect on that shit. Like just your style and what you do. Like, oh, Salt Flats. That's what it was. Thank you, Buck and Flack. It was the Salt Flats that FKJ performed at, like the largest one in the world. That's where it was.
That would be incredible. He's done a lot of, oh man, all of his, like, back on him for a second. Those shows that he does, like did you see the one in the aquarium?
No.
He did one in an aquarium. Or was it an aquarium or was it an art gallery? I'm pretty sure it was an aquarium.
I'm writing it down.
I gotta look that up again. Hopefully, I'm not wrong because I also just want to play in an aquarium myself. So I might have
Right?
I might have merged those ideas.
Right.
But
I could dig it.
yeah, beautiful stuff. Like that would be so amazing to play on Circle. Be one of those artists on Circle. That'd be insane.
I think your style would be perfect for that, honestly. Like,
Yep.
I would love, yeah, that would be amazing. I could definitely see that.
That's a goal. I mean, that's a real goal. So it's cool to hear you say that.
I have nothing but pure confidence in your path, honestly. So Delgira, thank you for the follow. Mariah May, thank you again for the raid of 21. Holy fuck, I did not realize it was that many people. Megan V225 for the follow. J Laz Kazarian, thank you for the follow. DC's People's Champ, thank you for the follow. Mariah May for the follow. Buck in Flock with the, I think that's 10 gifted. Yo, my key winced with the follow. Buck and Flock with another 3 gifted. Choppy Oppy, thank you for the follow. That's Jared, right? Choppy Oppy.
Yeah,
Dope.
shout out Jared. Shout out Delgira too. Like, thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. Thank you. I'm like tearing up.
Yeah, you guys are great. Yeah, thank you both for the follow so much. The Economy with 5 gifted. Whoa, yo, thank you, boys. That's dope. Let's see, Buck and Flock with another 6. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. With another 5 gifted. Withdrawn Studio with 9 bits. Mariah May with 44 bits. Buck and Flock with 1,500. Tootsie with the gift to Has Good G. C. Nicklo. Oh shit. Samson in the chat. with 24 bits, and then another 4 bits. Buck and Flock with another 3K. Holy fuck, bro. You popped off. Tootsie with 69 bits. Thank you so much, bro. And Philosophical 1 with the follow. Thank you all so much. Holy. So, as you guys know, the proceeds for this podcast go to a charity of choosing, and Sarah and I have chosen the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, which I am going to donate what I received from this. So I'm going to recount everything up, make sure it matches on my Twitch, and I'm going to donate that in addition to $50 of mine to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation.
Yeah, I'll match the 50 as well.
You sure? Oh shit. Yo, W's. So we got 50 from me, 50 from McWavy, and then it's like 100 fucking damn, yeah. I'm going to relook to make sure I have everything down, and I will post the receipt on my Instagram story. In addition to this podcast is being made into a YouTube video, so I'm going to cut out the very beginning before Sarah joined, and then I'm going to cut out. That's probably it, actually, because I'm super happy you're chilling through this. So yeah, it'll go through the end. I'll also add the theme song that I created for this, and
hell yeah,
I give you a match cheat. My man, yo, thank you, bro. Fuck yeah. So if that's the case, then wait, 10 gave it 50 is 25. That sounds about right. You gave me more than that. Nah, dude, yeah, fucking holy. Nah, bro. If you mean in addition to, you are way too generous, Buck and Flag. Nah, bro. You popped off and super generous. I know that the Chesapeake Bay Foundation not only needs it, but will appreciate this this donation. Next, in 2 weeks, let me check the date. I don't want to be wrong about this. February 3rd, I will be doing this with a streamer, Cyberhero, content creator, streamer, very cool dude, built communities, or built his community, talented streamer, like very good personality. So that will be February 3rd. Once again, today we had Sarah McAndrew, aka McWavy, author, composer, illustrator. I know that you didn't draw them, but I'm sure you had a bit of the vision for the art. I would consider that, a different kind of, it's a talent, but fucking everything. They're farmer, like animals, humanity, a good person for humanity right here. Where's my camera? How do I do this? Right here. Thank you so much for being on the show once again. I super stoked to have you on. We just did 2.5 hours or a little more. Holy shit.
That's Jesus. Insanity. That's damn.
Like, wait, what? Yo, yeah, we just did 2.5 hours. Damn.
I gotta be real. I was so nervous when I first got on this thing. I was nervous, and now to hear it's been 2.5 hours, I'm just like, holy shit, like just flew by like that. That was a great conversation.
100%.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for being here. I couldn't tell that you were at all until you said something, but it didn't seem that, like, at least with you talking, it didn't seem that you were after you said it. Like, it didn't seem like you were at all to me before. But no, I mean, I had a great time speaking with you, and I'm so happy that you were a part of this.
Thank you. Thanks for having me once again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. I'm about to end stream. Thank you to everybody who watched. Once again, Buck and Flock, Stanley Taters, Scenic, Matt, The Economy, Kamachka, thank you for being in the chat. That's my girl. Love you. Mariah May for the raid, and everybody that followed behind it. Love you guys. Much love. Thanks again. Once again, the next episode will be February the 3rd at 7 p.m. as well. Josh, there you are, buddy. Yeah, thanks for everybody that tuned in. I had a great time speaking with Sarah. I'm excited to have you back as soon as, might be a year or whatever. I plan on doing this forever, but I would love to have you back sometime. Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. Cheers, everybody. Thanks so much again for watching episode 2 featuring McWavy. Once again, I'm Milk Stevens, and I wanted to let you know that we raised $321 for charity. I donated $200 to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation and $121 to the first charity that we donated to, the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Thanks for watching.